Hello everyone! Can you guys see me? Thank you so much for coming over to my live stream today. How is everyone doing? Hope that everyone is having a good day. Hello. So I'm going to do a reaction video for the Game Theorists video that is coming out soon. That just came out. And the title I remember correctly is Please Come Home. Yeah. So it's coincidence, and then I thought to myself, why not just name it as No Way Home, Far From Home. Sounds good, right? But anyways, I'm gonna start soon. Thank you so much for coming over to my live stream. I think there's something wrong. Okay, there you go. Just a moment. In the meantime, you don't mind if I sing a song, right? I love to sing a song when I get distracted. 当落那天，把该说的话好好说，该体谅的不执着。如果那天我不做情绪的挑拨，你会这么做？那当初的你把现在的我假如重来过，倘若那天把该说的话好好说，该体谅的不执着。如果那天我不受情绪搅拨，你会这么做？那么多如果，可能如果我，可惜没如果，没有你和我。都怪我，不该沉默是沉默，该勇敢是沦落。如果不是我，不会自己洒脱，让我们难过。可当初的你和现在的我，假如重来过，倘若那天把该说的话好好说，该体谅的不执着。如果那天我不受情绪挑拨，你会这么做？可当初那么多如果，可能如果我，可惜没如果，没有你和我。可惜没如果。I shall get to this next one. This coming Sunday is my birthday lah, so I'm going to upload a lot of videos. It's gonna be a challenge. Alright, let's start. I'm sorry. Let's start. In 3, 2. Hello everyone, it's me, and today, far from home. Please come home, but no way home. Sounds good? Sounds good, yeah, sounds good. Three, two, one, and start. Hello everyone, it's me, and today, please, far from home. Hello Hello everyone, it's me, and today, far from home, but please come home, no way home. One more time. Hello everyone, it's me, and today, far from home, please come home, but no way home.
Hello and welcome to the beta test of game theory. As a beta tester, your goal is to find bugs and glitches and overanalyze them. I'm fully aware the game is not finished yet, however, you'll be essential for ensuring that this thing rolls out for the enjoyment of the whole family. Thank you, beta tester.
There's so much glitch involved there. Press spacebar to...
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory!
Hello Internet! Welcome to Game Theory! Hello!
The show that takes a look at the indie horror tree to find what franchise is ripe for the picking. Case in point today, Andy's Apple Farm. An indie horror game released in August and designed by, their words not mine, aspiring developer M36 Games. On that note, it's time to take that aspiring off your Game Jolt bio there, M36, because Andy's Apple Farm is fantastic. It's got old school 80s style graphics, charming character designs, and a lore that's hidden in one of the coolest and most unique ways yet. It requires you to lose.
Whoa! Now that's interesting. Really unique, especially in which you don't win the game by winning, you lose the game by winning. You win the game by losing.
By purposely failing, playing things out of order, and ultimately trying to break the game, you unlock new clues that draw you deeper and deeper into this horror show. You know what they say, a mystery a day keeps the FNAF episodes away.
There's gonna be a lot of FNAF jokes involved, right? A lot of Five Nights at Freddy's reference.
And Andy is a bushel full of questions. So let's take a trip on over to the Apple Farm to see if we could solve one of my favorite horror mysteries of 2021. When you first boot up the game, you're given a choice between high graphics and low graphics. As tempting as it might be, let me tell you right now, pick the low quality graphics. Trust me on this one.
Oh my gosh, he walks so slow. I think the graphics are too high fidelity for us, Matt. We're experiencing extreme slowdown because the graphics are too high quality.
Once you've selected your
or maybe you have like a super good CPU processor, or you have like 1 terabyte of RAM, 2 terabytes of RAM.
option, it's revealed to us that we're playing as a beta tester for Eastwood Games.
Hello, this is Eastwood, Thomas Eastwood. Welcome to the beta test of Andy's Apple Farm. As a beta tester, your goal is to find bugs and glitches and report them to me.
Glitches, you say? In an indie horror game? Who could have foreseen it? In-game,
FNAF!
you take on the role of Andy the Apple, a cute little guy who had the keys to his house stolen by his 4 friends. Before they'll give him back, though, the friends challenge him to 4 separate minigames. Klaus the Clock wants you to play I Spy, Melody the Moon wants you to play Friday Night Funkin', Felix the Fish needs you to catch 3 fish, which seems like a weird thing for a fish to ask you to do, and Margaret the Unrecognizable Animal wants you to sort fruit. Yeah, probably the biggest mystery of this game is what she's supposed to be.
Margaret the Mutt, the dog.
What can I say? She was giving me some strong bulldog vibes. After doing some digging, though...
Who let the dogs out? Oof, oof, oof.
Apparently she's supposed to be a, mole?
What?
Nope, not buying it. Anyway, that's not really the mystery we're interested in, because even before you start these minigames, things begin to fall apart. We see both Andy and Felix's faces in audio distort, text gets stuck behind the background assets, and once you play the minigames, some cryptic text appears on screen. She's not gone, she's still here. She wants you to free us, please free us. And then the game crashes. Boy, Thomas, you were not kidding when you said that there'd be glitches. I am earning every bit of that minimum wage that you're paying me. If you power through all the issues and play all the mini games and collect all the bonus stickers, you're told your keys are in the barn where you meet the final character, Peter the Pumpkin.
That's a very hardworking game developer. Spare respect to all the game developers in the world. Thank you so much for making such important and awesome games involved. Thank you. Super respect.
Play with him a final round of tag and get this.
What? What is going on? Okay. Yeah, whatever. Evil monstrosities in the barn, sure.
One final jump scare and boom.
Yeah, whatever, sure. Evil monstrosity into the farm. Sure.
You're at the end. That's it. 20 minutes gameplay, 5 very basic mini games. That's the whole thing. Provided you don't care about the lore. And what sort of pleb doesn't care about the lore?
I know. NetPat would love the lore. NetPat.
No, confused MatPat needs to know what's going on in this thing. And once you start digging into it, secrets are everywhere. So what on earth is this story and what's going on with that monster with the eyes? That, my friends, is what we aim to solve.
Sounds great! Let's play!
Sounds great. Let's play. Let's theorize.
The first major hint we get is during Felix's fishing minigame. Normally you play this one first and nothing really happens. Your eyes just sort of glitch out a bit.
You know something spooky's happening when your eyes start melting.
A minute or two later, the game will start to have real problems and crash, ultimately giving you this message right before it does. Quote, he drowned that day at the bottom of the lake. She didn't save him. It's not her fault. Doesn't make a lot of sense on its own, but wait, if you play this same minigame after one or two of the others, suddenly you get yourself a new ending.
Oh, interesting. So you have to play the game a second time. A third time?
This time you get some new pixels appearing in the bottom left of the screen. And those aren't just any pixels, friends. It's a body. The body of a dead child. Hold on here. Glitches, hidden lore, and dead children. Did we just get a bingo?
Can it be a theory 1980s? Okay. There's a lot of FNAF reference to it. Pay respect to the FNAF franchise.
Did we just get a bingo? We know that this is a child's body thanks to a police report that we receive when hooking the body and bringing it towards the surface.
A search is underway for a child who fell off a rowboat and never resurfaced Thursday evening. The victim, a 10-year-old male, and his sister fell off a rowboat late at night. The girl returned home safely, however, the young boy has not been found as of yet.
Wait a minute, how come his eyes, how come the animation is more towards from here to... Interesting.
10-year-old didn't just fall out of the boat, he drowned, leaving us to pick up his body from the bottom of the lake. Now, this is normally where I just move on to the next big puzzle, but Andy's apple farm is different. There's even more hidden in this first minigame. We've already mentioned that the order in which you play the games can reveal different secrets, but the secrets you unlock are also dependent on how you play those minigames. In the case of this first fishing minigame, if instead of lifting the body, you drag the body across the seafloor, the game freaks out and gives you this code. Using a substitution cipher, we see that it says, but it wasn't her fault. We weren't alone that night. I don't blame her, which is followed by a visual of a girl in a boat with a silhouetted figure appearing behind her. In fact, we can actually see this girl in the aftermath of this tragedy.
The facial expressions seems like she was being shocked. She didn't recognize who was the silhouette.
Since this is an 8-bit style game, if we smash our bodies against every surface we encounter, chances are we're gonna find a gap in the collision detection. And sure enough, that's exactly what happens. At the bottom left of the picnic area in the overworld is a gap which leads to a girl crying in the boat after the incident. She gives us lines like, I didn't mean to. What are mom and dad going to think? I'm sorry, Lewis. Followed by a reversed message in hexadecimal over an image of a boy, which translates to Lewis. So clearly Lewis is our 10-year-old victim, but the scary part is that it appears this girl, his sister, was the one that pushed him into the lake. Why else would she be saying, I didn't mean to? It also seems like the shadowy figure was the one that drove her to do it. Now that alone is a pretty horrifying story, but we're just getting started. The next part of the story unfolds during Margaret the Mole's mini.
The mole. Wait, I just noticed that Lewis can be a boy's name and a girl's name as well, isn't it?
Game. By taking your cursor out of bounds during this minigame, we get a binary code that translates to the name Cameron and a family Christmas photo dated 1981.
Oh my gosh, I really love it. So much Easter eggs, so much hidden stage involved. This must be very interesting content creators. Love the game developers involved.
Notice the hair and sweater colors here? The two children match Lewis and his sister's sprites. If you continue the minigame but keep tapping the spacebar near the end, Margaret's face distorts and we're suddenly shown a new scene featuring two characters who, based on the body and hair color, appear to be the mother Cameron and their father Thomas from the Christmas photo. In discussing the boat incident, Thomas appears to be quite upset, convinced that his daughter's to blame, but the mother defends her and tells Thomas to get out. Now, if Margaret's is the first minigame you play, then once you've beaten it, you head on over and get this new cryptic message. The time was supposed to be happy, but she could feel her skin peeling off, which is creepy and gross, and I don't like it, mostly because it doesn't connect into anything that we've talked about yet. But don't worry, it will. Something else though is bugging me more. Why does the
skin peeling off
name Thomas feel so familiar? Oh wait, at the start of the game, he's the creator, Thomas Eastwood. By playing Melody's music minigames second or third, we're teleported to a forest covered in snow where we find a car and hear this audio.
Hey Cam, you want to see this? She seems busy. Anyways, I've been experimenting with a lot of cool technology recently. A lot of the video games I've been putting together haven't really been accepted by a lot of the publishers. I knew something really cool with this next one. It has something called a cinema screen type monitor, so I feel like it'd be more immersive like movies. I've also been thinking about some other types of technology to make the characters a bit more lifelike.
A struggling indie game developer on their final hope.
That sounds really coincidental, right? And also, you must understand that there's the immersive, cinema-like, and new experiments.
Why does that sound so familiar? Anyway, he initially tries to talk to someone named Cam, which is probably short for Cameron, the name that we talked about earlier. But this failure has caused him to look into new technology that makes his games more lifelike. We've all done this rodeo a couple times. Sounds like someone is gonna be shoving some dead souls into his video game. But again,
Luigi's!
that's not all. Coming back and playing Melody's minigame a second time, you'll find a prompt where you can listen through the window of a house. Inside is Cameron consoling her daughter, who's upset that both her dad and Lewis aren't around for Christmas. It's important to note that the mother addresses the daughter as Isabella, which would explain the stocking in the background with the letter I on it. There's also a stocking for K, most likely for Cameron, and a third one with the letter A. Well, no time to figure that one out, because after the scene plays, the house is burned to the ground while screaming is heard inside, implying that both Isabella and Cameron died inside of a house fire.
Wow! What the? That escalated quickly. Wait. Why?
That also explains the quote that we talked about earlier about skin peeling off during a happy time. Burning to death at Christmas. I've heard of chestnuts roasting over an open fire, but this is getting pretty extreme. Anyway, the
What?
final game is I Spy with Klaus the Clock. If you push your cursor out of bounds in this one, you get a scene depicting Thomas sitting across from his friend Arthur, our first and only name in the game beginning with the letter A. We actually learned that after being kicked out, Thomas asked Arthur to keep an eye on his family, but also seems to have suspicions that Arthur's now having an affair. I suppose they're ex-friends now. Or should I say axe friends? Considering the next cutscene we can unlock is where we see Thomas using an axe to hack his friend
No!
to pieces. Thomas then looks down at his bloody hands and screams, "What have I done?" Alright, so we have a tragic boat accident, a deadly house fire, a murderous game developer, and a mysterious shadow that seems to be pulling the strings.
And note that it escalated very quickly.
But how does it all fit together? Well, for that, we need to play our final game of tag against Peter the Pumpkin. If you let Peter win the initial game, we see what is, in my estimation, the scariest image coming out of Andy's apple farm. A dark figure looming in a room with text appearing below the image. I can see it. It's been following me. I think it's watching me, but it doesn't have eyes. Hey, that shadow looks kind of familiar, doesn't it? Wonder if it likes boating. If instead you win the first game, you get a different message. I just wanted to see my
I really like it that Madpat tried to make a funny twist about something so horrible and so dark.
family again. I knew what I was doing was risky. I didn't want it to turn out this way. Free us, save us, help us. The next game is nearly impossible to win, but it can be done. Doing it gives you a cipher that translates to, Thomas, don't ask for help. Nobody can save you now. We then get the garage scene with a dark entity and Thomas falling to pieces. It's worth noting that as he turns to pieces, they turn red and we see the eyes of Andy the apple appear. We can then walk across the screen to finally find Andy's missing key, with text appearing that says, I should have known what I got myself into. It's my fault. You on the other side, you can help me, save us. So there you have it. Pretty much the full slate of secrets coming from Andy's apple farm. Now let's start putting them together because clearly there's still a number of other clues and loose threads that we have to tie up. First, the house fire. Who started it?
Who started the house fire?
Thomas accuses Arthur of
On Christmas.
doing it during the axe scene, but I don't think that's true. Instead, I think it's Thomas who started the fire. Andy the apple appears to be Thomas trapped inside the game. Klaus the clock, meanwhile, is the stand-in for Arthur. Before the cutscene in the woods where we see Thomas kill Arthur, we actually see Thomas's car at the burned house before Klaus's arrival, implying that Thomas was there to start the fire and then Arthur arrived after the fact. But all of this raises the question then, why would Thomas accuse Arthur of killing his family if he did it himself? Well, the reason lies in another area of the game that we've yet to explore, and that's the game's loading screen. Even when you boot up the game for the first time, there's already a second save file that's loaded up, and hey, they've got themselves 8 badges, not just the 4 that we're limited to unlocking, so
It's a Pokemon reference! Get it. Ash and Gary. Red and blue.
hopefully there's some answers in this other save file.
Huh?
Is this real? Did my PC really die?
Nope, past MatPat, it did not. And if you're a lore hunting expert like me, you too will have probably noticed not just the creepy face hidden there in the blue, but also the QR code on the screen, which means that this just became an ARG. Bing!
Oh, ARG! Oh my gosh, it's super like FNAF eh. I really like that people pay respect and homage to this kind of references. It's just awesome.
Go, definitely bingo this time. What's strange though is that this QR code just takes you back to the game's itch.io page, which you would have been to anyway to download this thing in the first place, which means there's more to this page than it first seems. Browsing the page line by line, I noticed this little exclamation point here was hyperlinked. So I clicked it and found a YouTube page by someone called Logan Eastwood, the great nephew of Thomas Eastwood. This guy only has 3 videos, mainly just playing this old game that he found at his great uncle's house. But it's the latest video that's the most interesting. Titled Andy's Apple Farm Secret, this video shows us a brand new cutscene from the game. One where Thomas looks at an axe and argues with a voice inside his head saying, I don't want to kill him, I don't want to kill anybody. And the voice responding, when did I give you a choice?
Wow, that is super dark. Wow. It's like, I hear voices in my head, they talk to me, they understand, they talk to me. Oh.
I suppose you could say Thomas here is a, wait for it, reluctant follower. Get it? It's a FNAF thing, you know, glitch trap possessing Vanny and all that. Look, it's not like I'm seeking this stuff out. It just comes to me, okay? Anyway, all of it seems to be tied back to this dark entity in the boat in Thomas's house at the end of the game. It keeps possessing people and causing them to kill others. But why? What is the goal? Well, I think that it's getting stronger. Think about it this way. We see the entity for the first time in the boat with Isabella, but at that point in the story, it has no facial features. Moving forward in the timeline though, we see this entity again in Thomas's bedroom, and it still has no eyes. They explicitly tell us it has no eyes, but now it has a mouth. By the end of the game, once everyone else has died, we see it has many eyes and a massive form, capable of killing Thomas. It's been getting stronger with each death. But Thomas wasn't completely destroyed. We saw him transform into Andy the Apple. He even addresses us directly, asking the player to save us. Plural. He's not the only one trapped inside this thing. Klaus is Arthur, Margaret is Cameron, Melody unlocks the events leading to Isabella's Christmas Eve scene, and Felix is fishing for Lewis's dead body. These characters, these dead characters, have had their spirits put into the game. Why? Well, we know Thomas was messing with technology to make his characters more lifelike, and when his son died, Thomas was desperate to be with his son and bring the family back together again. And so, the entity saw this as an opportunity. Thomas essentially made a deal with the devil to keep his family together. As we see him say, I should have known what I got myself into. I just wanted to see my family again. I knew what I was doing was risky. And like the devil often does, he fulfills the promises, but there's a catch. His family does indeed get to be together again, but not in the real world, instead stuck inside a video game. Except there is a wrinkle here. Isabella didn't die in the house fire. Unlike every other character, she doesn't get a death date screen in the barn. She is weirdly unaccounted for. And if you play Melody's minigame before all the other characters, we see the message, she's not gone, she's still here. She wants you to free us, please free us. And to put the final nail in the coffin, by checking out M36's YouTube page, we can find Melody's test sprite video, who we've already established is Isabella's in-game counterpart. In this video, we receive coordinates, which, when decoded from hexadecimal, translates to, she saw what you did, Thomas, which means Isabella not only survived the fire, witnessing her mom die in the process, but she also likely saw Thomas kill Arthur in the woods. So Isabella isn't dead, but she's also Melody in the game? How? Well, I think she's definitely gonna die at some point, just not in the story of this game. You see, M36 has come out and said that they're working on a follow-up, and we've even gotten some screenshots from it, showing us 2 girls standing together, one in a blue shirt and the other a brunette wearing pink.
Oh, it's like part 2 of the games. Wow. You know the game is going to be very big when there's a part 2 for it.
Exactly like the sprite of Isabella. Her story is not done, and I think that this other girl is only going to play a part in it. On November 14th, M36 posted the code to their Discord, which had the latter half of a YouTube URL. Following it took us to an unlisted video called Don't Be Afraid, Sam, where a girl with a blue shirt is seen with a copy of Andy's Apple Farm. She touches it and is told, don't be afraid, Sam, you'll be with her again soon. I believe our next installment is going to continue Isabella's story after she escapes escapes the house fire. She's gonna confide in her friend Sam, and she's gonna realize that her family is stuck inside of the game. But the entity is gonna get her before she can do anything to free them. Sam is also gonna get caught up in this thing, told that she can be with her friend very soon, which in turn is gonna get her killed, and she too will enter the game. In fact, I predict she's gonna be one of the only unused characters that we see in M36's first sprite test video, the bee known as Bailey. So there you have it. My predictions for Andy Apple Farm's next chapter is what I would be saying if I didn't have one final prediction bombshell to drop on you.
Whoa, wait. That still have one more to go. One more.
When exploring that final barn on the top floor where you find images of Cameron, Arthur, and Thomas, there's also one for Lewis, but it doesn't have a death date. Instead, it just has a missing date. His body is never found. I think, just like with his sister, this is a clue that Lewis is also gonna be back, but in this case, it's not gonna be the real Lewis. If I were to guess, it's gonna be the entity using Lewis's body. A body that, unlike Isabella and Thomas, it won't have to fight against for control. It's going to be a doppelganger. The entity will be piloting it, and it'll be looking to kill.
Something like a doppelganger. Whoa. That's scary.
And that, my friends, is the uplifting story of Andy's Apple Farm, a family that murders itself during Christmas while under the control of a demonic force, hoping to be reunited in some sort of video game afterlife. How do you like them apples? But hey, a quick shout out to our sponsor for today's episode, Opera GX, the first internet web browser that's designed with gamers in mind. Sometimes your computer just isn't strong enough to play a game.
This thing needs a PS5 to function.
Or maybe you're like me and you like playing games with lots of tabs open. I personally game in between doing work, or sometimes while just doing work, and all those tabs are links to cipher decoders and notepads and Photoshop and basically anything I need to do for an episode. But because of that, my game's performance tends to suffer as my processing power drops to 0. But Opera GX is perfect for fixing this sort of thing thanks to its GX control and network limiter, which allows me to decide how much of my CPU and RAM those tabs can use, which in turn allows me to have a much smoother recording experience.
Having said that, I really want to buy a new computer right now because, well, my RAM, my CPU is quite old, super not the best performing.
It's also perfect for me when I'm writing scripts. I usually need some kind of music or podcast playing in the background to keep my mood up when I'm tackling horrifying content like today's theory. So having the GX player built into the browser's sidebar just makes that whole process easier. I'm not having to search through hundreds of threads to find like the one music file that I have opened up on YouTube. Plus, with the integrations of Discord, Facebook Messenger, and WhatsApp, I'm able to jump in between my research and give notes to the editors. Might not sound like all that much, but if you're a gamer who needs to multitask, or just someone who has to manage a lot of things all at the same time while you're browsing the internet, it's honestly a real time saver when you add up how often you have to switch applications during the day. And to top it all off, Opera GX is now available on mobile. So if an idea strikes me while I'm out and about, I can just quickly do research and then transfer it over to my desktop as soon as I'm back to the office. Opera GX is free to use, so head on down to the description and click the link to give it a try. Seriously, there is literally no reason not to test it out. I like to test web browsers out every couple years just to see if, like, hey, there's a better solution out there for me. And yeah, Opera GX, this is the one for me right now. So what are you waiting for, gamers? Time to start surfing your way to a more optimized and efficient online experience. Link is in the top line of the description. Give Opera GX a try, and as always, remember, it's all just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I messed up. Thank you so much for watching this video together with me. If you do like this video, please remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel and comment down below if you have any share with us. Don't forget to follow my channel, and I sincerely appreciate all of your support and encouragement for our work. Thank you so much. It's very motivating and uplifting to see all your inspirational comments and so positivity and wholesomeness. Thank you so much. And once again, I'm really grateful and appreciative for all your support, and I hope to see you all in my next video. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. Thanks for watching. Thank you. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye! Subscribe! Thank you. Alright, that's good. So I'm gonna upload this video right now. It's gonna be super laggy. Hopefully everything turns out fine. Hopefully everything turns out fine. Alright. In the meantime, I don't know what to do. Sing a song maybe? because actually right now it's 11:55 a.m. I have less than 5 minutes to upload this video. I try to upload this like, okay, because this month is my birthday month. Next Sunday is my birthday. Sunday. Oh sorry, this Sunday. This Sunday is my birthday. And then I want to. I mentioned this before. The first month of my birthday, I try to upload 2 videos per day. The first week of my birthday. The first week of my birthday month, I try to upload 2 videos per day. Second week of my birthday month, times 2, 4 videos. Third week of my birthday month, times 2 again, 8 videos per day. And right now it's the third week, 8 videos per day. Yeah, 8 videos per day. So it's like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 3, 0, 0, 0, 6, 0, 0, 0, 9, 0, 0, 1, 2, 0, 0. Right now it's the 1, 2, 0, 0, that part. Yeah, hopefully everything can work out, hopefully. And I noticed that I try to learn from multiple different live streamers on both the Twitch platform and the YouTube platform, right? And also from the Facebook platform. And the average out is their minimum number of live stream hours, right? Is 2.5 to 3.5 hours. So minimum, I'll spend 3 hours to live stream, and I was thinking, so every live stream at least 3 hours. So I'm thinking of maybe let's push it a bit. Let's aim for 3.5 hours. Sometimes I would be lower a bit by 2.5 hours, but still, every single time I'm doing this, I want to make sure that at the very least, if I can emulate. I listen to a lot of those kind of inspirational thoughts, those kind of advice given, guidance on how to improve on your live stream. And one of them is really helpful. Is genuinely very helpful. In the fact that I can actually understand their reasoning. I can actually understand their reasoning because they are correct, I think. Right now it's 11:58 p.m. 11:58 a.m. Hopefully everything work out. Okay, I just uploaded. Schedule my timing. Hopefully can 12 o'clock. So actually, one more thing. I noticed that if I upload multiple videos in one go, in one shot, people will tend not to watch it. But if I was to upload like 1 video per day, there will be more audience. If I was to upload like 1 video per 3 days, per 4 days, I can just switch around 3 and 4, 3 and 4, 3 and 4. One upload 3 days later, one upload, or one upload 4 days later, one upload. I can play around with it. Yes, I need to create my thumbnail as well. I'm sorry, I have to create that. I want to show you guys what it's me. I want to show you guys my thumbnail processing power. My thumbnail processing workflow process, but my computer cannot. I'm pretty sure right now you are seeing me. It's quite laggy right now because of my RAM. My CPU is not the best. I want to upgrade, at least upgrade to a minimum 16 GB RAM lah. Yeah, it's not the best, but it's better than mine. It's significantly better than mine. Even the mouse is. So right now it's 12:01 p.m. My video is uploading soon. You shall be able to see my video right now if anyone is watching right now. One is for sure, there'll be days in which I genuinely feel like, wow, it hurts. Actually, I feel bad. I'm going to play a song. No, this is not. Background song, yes. You know the kind of position in which your butt just doesn't feel right? Yeah. Yeah. See, I told you my. Waiting for one stream to load. Take 5 minutes. Wait, it's not 5 minutes. It took more than 8 minutes. Just to wait for one stream to load. I'm like, oh my gosh, this computer is horrible. It's okay. It's not the best. It's usable, but man, very well upload. I need the upload. There'll be days in which like I want to improve, but can't because of my limitations. I mean, you can grow with the limitations, but at some point in time, you notice that the limitation is holding you back. There'll be a certain point in which you're like, yeah, I need that. I've grown past that point already. Time for me to further improve by having a better gear. And then, unfortunately, I need. See, once I'm finished, I have still stuck at this page. At least give me double of the RAM, come on. I'm gonna buy a new computer already. I really need to buy. It's not I may need, it's I really need. I genuinely need. Better RAM, better CPU. At the background, you shall be able to hear the fan, the exhaust of my computer is just full power. I'm checking right now. My CPU is at 100%. My processor is at 100%. My RAM is at 100%. And see, I'm not even doing anything. I'm just letting the entire thing run smoothly. 100%, 0%. Give me a while. I'm going to close everything later. Buy money, yeah. I need to spend money to buy it. Oh gosh. Hi. You're reacting to other characters on your channels. Does that mean silver? Oh. Hi, keeping profits. Yeah, no. What do you mean? What do you mean other characters? I'm reacting to the game theorists and the film theorists. They appear in the game theorists. They appear in the film theorists. These videos appear in the game theorists. These appear in the film theorists. KB profits. And hi. No, I'm just very mad right now at the fact that my computer is horrible with poor processing power, with poor RAM. I'm sorry, I'm just really bad mood. Really bad mood. So what do you mean? I react to other videos. I've been reacting to game theorists, the film theorists, What do you mean by other videos? The science appear in the game theorists. Gaijin Gumba appear in the film theorists. Film legends appear in the film theorists. What do you mean? Huh? Does Silver Gunner appear in the game Theorists, the film Theorists, or food Theorists videos? I told you multiple different times. I'm paying homage. I'm paying respect. I'm showing my dedications as a fan. That I really like to watch the film Theorists, the food Theorists, and the game Theorists, and the game Theorists, the film Theorists, and the food Theorists videos. Right, it's because I grew up watching the videos for literally more than a decade. I really like the show. I want to show support. Let's double check. Let's do a test run. Let's do a test run. I'm worried. Oh gosh, I'm super mad at myself. It's me, and today, far from home. It's me, and today, It's me. Oh gosh, I cannot see. And today, far from home. Please come home, but no way home.
Hello and welcome to the beta test of game theory. As a beta test,
It's a bit sad, you know. It's just really sad. Oh wow, someone actually watched it already. It's just really sad. Oh gosh. I'm just really mad at myself. Just very angry. Really angry at myself. If only I could just increase. And today, far from home. Better RAM power. Better CPU power. Better processing power. I'm super angry.
You like to watch videos, you want to make videos, have you considered
Okay. Don't be mad. Don't be angry. Oh no, Film Legends is part of the MadPads community. You can watch it. Come on, you can just copy paste the entire my title. You can copy paste my YouTube title and paste it onto the YouTube search. It will appear. Why am I mad at myself? Because I think I mentioned right, the RAM, the CPU, I'm mad at myself for being poor and unable to buy a better computer. I told you before, my CPU is horrible, my RAM is horrible. I'm just mad at myself for not being able to afford this and create. I want to create better content for everyone to watch. I'm sorry, just really mad right now at myself, at my computer, at my. It works, but it's not. I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking for. It is much. Actually, it's much. It's first world problem. I'm sorry. It's just first world problem. My apologies. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. I shall make do with what I am. Correct. Why is this 20? Oh my! Oh, This is a 27-minute video. Literally. Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand. Alright, let's start. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And once again, thank you so much for being so engaging and active in the chat. Thank you so much, especially for a small content creator as me. I'm not just small, I'm super tiny, super tiny. I just want to let you know. Yeah, thank you so much. K Profits, Anson, thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate it. Actually, there's a song, right? I want you. How do you sing a song? I want you to know. I want you to know. Let's start. Hi everyone, it's me. Hello everyone, it's me, and today. Hello everyone, it's me, and today. May I ask you a question? Hello everyone, it's me. Mouse is not working. Yes. One more time. Hello everyone, it's me, and today. Oh gosh, this adjust. Outtakes, yeah, KB Profits. That's a lot of outtakes. That's a lot of outtakes. There's the this thing sausagely drop out. Okay, mouse doesn't connect properly. One more time. 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, it's me, and today may I ask you a question, please? Thank you so much. What is the biggest disaster that you can think of in Disney? Let's go!
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory!
Hello Internet, welcome to Film Theory! Hello, welcome to
Where I can't waste any more time getting to the finale of this theory because I keep literally being stopped in the streets and asked what the deadliest movie is gonna end up being.
And that is one of the reasons why this video is a 27-minute video for me to react to.
It's actually a little unsettling how into this theory everyone is. Plus, the process of getting through these last 5 excruciatingly
Historical inaccuracy. Historical inaccuracy everywhere.
inaccurate movies is gonna take us so long that I literally don't have any time to waste today. No witty banter, no cringy dad jokes, just death, death, and even more death. Remember, we ended last episode with our total kill count sitting at
Thousands.
3,520. I had forgotten to add in 2 at the end of last episode. Those 3,520 deaths were coming across 53 movies. The top of our deadliest Disney movie leaderboard belonged to The Lion King, sitting confidently atop Pride Rock in a pile of bones with 1,660 lives lost.
Literally thousands of sentient beings.
Mostly due to a half a decade of hyenas overfeeding. But get ready, because today's challengers are gonna give that number a heck of a run for its money. When we started in on this
It's gonna be more than thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands.
trilogy, everyone on our Theorist team picked the movie that they thought was gonna end up being the deadliest. It was like guessing the weight of a new baby before it's born, except instead of pounds and ounces, it's beheadings and extinction level events. Hopefully your pick made it as a finalist, because this is your last chance to get those bets in. Your final 5 internet: Mulan, Dinosaur, Hercules, Atlantis, or Moana.
Alright, pick your choose right now. Choose your... What is your poison? Yes, what's the poison? Mulan, Dinosaur, Hercules, Atlantis, Moana.
Or heck, maybe it's just gonna stay The Lion King. Choose wisely, because lives, and more importantly, internet bragging rights, depend on it. Let's
Mario Live! Dun, dun, dun.
start with what is bizarrely the most straightforward of these final 5, Mulan, which was a clear fan favorite for death count in the comments. And I understand why. I mean, you literally see 2 villages burned, an army of good guys just outright dead in the snow, and the climax of the whole thing is, as we all remember,
Mulan killing a lot of people. Yes. Case in point, a princess kills thousands of people. You can't just say I'm a small little weak girl. You killed thousands of people, literally.
Mulan using fireworks to cause an avalanche that buries all but 6 of the invading Hun army.
Okay, six stay alive.
Initially, I thought the best
sorry.
way to do this would be to just look at history. Mulan, the Disney movie, in case you
6.
didn't know, comes from
Stay
the
alive.
Chinese legend of Hua Mulan, where the female warrior Mulan does
Hua Mulan. Yes, I really like it that MatPat just pronounced it properly. You know, I really pay respect to that. Thank you so much for spending the efforts and time to actually learn how to pronounce the words Hua Mulan properly. Most people will just say Fa Mulan.
what the movie would teach us to expect her to do. She takes her aging father's place in the army to defend against invaders. Interestingly enough, though, this is a really progressive story. In the original legend, she doesn't hide her true self from her family or sneak away in the middle of the night. Her family totally supports her decision to become a kick-butt warrior woman. She doesn't even need to fall in love with another soldier. I mean, I get that Disney needed to create some conflict or something, but the 5th century historical version of this story is actually a lot cooler and a lot more progressive than the 1998 remake. Feels bad, man.
Oh! Okay, fun fact. It is about a poem. Think of it as poetry about Hua Mulan. That's a story about her.
Given that it's a legend, maybe based in some history, I thought we could estimate deaths based on the number of soldiers in Shen Yu's real army. But Shen Yu isn't a real person. If anyone, he's sort of super loosely based on Attila the Hun, but geographically, Attila's empire ended 3,000 miles west of the Northern Wei Empire, where the Mulan legend originates, and most of his battles were fought against Europeans. So we got ourselves the wrong enemy at the wrong end of the continent, so there were really no Attila battles that I could base this on. But
So, as he mentioned before, as MatPat mentioned before, historical inaccuracy everywhere.
I kept on trying. Shen Yu gets his name from the anglicized version of Shan Yu title, which is just the generic term for a Hun leader.
It's like something like the role of like prime minister, president. It's not my name. My name is not called prime minister. My role is the prime minister. My role is the president.
It would be like watching a movie about America 1,000 years from now, where the head of our country was somehow named Perez Odent. Given that Shan Yu is this totally generic title, there's still no battle that we could possibly base this finale of Mulan on. It also doesn't help us that there's no real historical record of Mulan. While her legend is really famous, she's usually left out of Chinese history texts, and seems to be treated like a symbol rather than a real historical person.
In the poems, in the poetry, she exists.
So in the end, with not enough credible information to go on, I had to resort to doing a death count the old-fashioned way, counting. Except that counting all these people the old-fashioned way would have taken a ridiculous amount of time, so I did it the new-fashioned way, a macro. Using GNU Octave, I processed the frames of Mulan to automatically count how large Shen Yu's horde was.
Wow, I really like it that MatPat tries new stuff instead of actually 1, 2, 3, 4. I really like it that MatPat is trying new technological advances in this kind of digital field. Awesome.
The program converts the images into black and white, which in turn makes it easier for the computer to count the individual members of the army. I had to really fiddle around with the settings here to make sure that the program only was counting what I wanted it to, soon to be dead Huns. After some creative photoshopping, I came out with 11 deaths on the mountainside by aggressive firework, plus an additional 178 horsemen and 1,048 other soldiers in the avalanche itself.
You heard it correctly. Mulan killed thousands of people. A Disney princess killed thousands of people. Yes, you heard it correctly.
For a grand total of 1,237 kills. Add to that the 2 villages that we see burned, which, based on the size and proximity to the Great Wall of China, would have had about 100 residents each, as well as the army that gets massacred trying to surprise attack Shen Yu, which we can count in these scenes to be 31, but actually only adds 30 deaths since 1 messenger survives the massacre.
How many men does it take to deliver a message? 1.
And then Shen Yu himself, we get ourselves a grand total of 1,468. It's worth noting here that I've seen a few other different versions of this death count circulating around online, ranging anywhere from 260 to the upwards of 2,000. I was as absolutely exhaustive in this analysis as possible, so I feel pretty darn good about that 1,468 number, but in the end, it still doesn't edge out Lion King. With Mulan out of the way, it's time to move on to the last of our movies in the princess category, going from Mulan in China-ish to Moana in Polynesia-ish. After this, it's all gods and natural disasters, so Moana is going to be our last hope for a princess to take home the murder crown.
Okay, this Game of Thrones not that funny.
Amidala becomes death number 1 early on in the movie, and death number 2 quickly skyrockets to death number 260 when Maui and Moana blow up and sink an entire society of Kakamora, the little coconut pirates they meet in that totally forgettable scene that's just sandwiched in the middle of the movie. Anyway, those little scamps are based on a Solomon Islands legend of the Kakamora, a race of very small people who would steal from island tribes. They're always depicted as cute and harmless, which is clearly why Moana and Maui feel it necessary to sink 259 of them, at my best count, mercilessly into the ocean and then smile about it to each other as they sail away, leaving no survivors in their wake.
We did!
Brutal. Okay.
Ooh, wow. I mean, Mulan killed thousands of people because she was in the war. You killed hundreds of people because... Okay. We did it! Yeah.
That's 260. It's certainly a bloodbath, but it is far from record-breaking. But now we get to the curse. The whole movie hinges on the fact that Maui stole this powerful Heart of Te Fiti and thereby brought about a 1,000-year plague.
The Heart of Te Fiti.
Without her heart, Te Fiti began to crumble, giving birth to a terrible darkness that will continue to spread until every one of us is devoured by inescapable death.
That means...
Yep. Parenting. Done.
that Maui would be responsible for 1,000 years of darkness spreading across the Pacific Islands, which seems like it should be a shoo-in for death and destruction. I am certainly excited. Now, we do have to remember that except for a single crab...
Wait, did MatPat just say that he was excited?
God, animal species aren't sapient in this movie, so fish aren't gonna count. And as much as I'd like to think that that leaves us with plenty of room for death, the problem with this curse quickly becomes the fact that it's just now showing up to Moana's island, which means that it has been coming for a long time.
Watch out! Here I come! I'm just arriving in the next 1,000 years. 1,000 years. 1,000.
Sure, Grandma's map at the beginning of the movie shows this darkness spreading really fast, and yet when Moana and her dad visit the top of the island, he shows her how long they've been living there without any issues. No darkness to contend with for, at my count, 12 generations. If we're being generous and say that a generation of leader is turning over every 25 years, which again, Moana's dad looks significantly older than this, but we're giving it a worst case scenario, we're looking at least 300 years of easy fish and coconuts without even a hint of a plague. I mean, if you have that long to become a doomsday prepper and you don't build in any contingency plans, I think there's an argument to be made that you might have had it coming. Anyway, the point is, we need to see if this darkness is actually creeping up on anyone, or if it's just totally avoidable. To figure that out, we're gonna have to measure how far the curse has traveled, which we know is gonna be from the heart of Te Fiti, where the curse started, to Moana's island at the start of the movie. So all we need to know is how far she travels in her boat between those two locations and how long it takes to get there. Here's what we know. We see Moana travel for 3, maybe 4 days at most. Her boat is captained by Maui, a master wayfinder and demigod, and her
Master Wayfinder, navigating, and a demigod. Yeah! Continue.
Her boat is a recreation of a Fijian kamikau, similar to an outrigger canoe, that can travel up to 15 knots or 17 miles per hour. We're gonna somehow have to ignore the fact that this boat was also built by those 300-year-old ancestors who landed on Moana's island, making this boat so impossibly old that there's no way it would actually sail, but whatever, Disney. We'll
It's like, sure. What? Princess Davis Magada, plot armor.
also assume that Moana didn't sleep at any point during the journey, something Maui considered a sign of weakness as a wayfinder.
But she's a god. She's a goddess.
So at the boat's max rate, steered completely straight by an expert wayfinder, she could sail 1,632 miles or 2,626 kilometers in 4 days, which is pretty incredible, but we're giving them the best case scenario. This means that Moana's island is a little over 1,600 miles from the heart of Te Fiti, or Curse Ground Zero. So okay, if the darkness started at Te Fiti and is just now reaching Moana's island at least 300 years later, we're saying that it took 300 years for the darkness to spread 1,632 miles, meaning that the curse has spread 5.4 miles per year. That is nothing. When you're standing on the shore of a beach, the horizon you're seeing is 2.8 miles away. From the top of Moana's island, you would be seeing well over 12 miles into the horizon.
So she should be able to see years, months, years in
You would
advance.
literally see this darkness coming towards your shores for several years in advance,
See?
which is why Moana's deadliness just falls apart. With that much notice, it would be almost impossible to believe that seafaring Polynesian island dwellers who primarily fish for survival would be unable to, get in their boats and sail to the next island over when they see the curse coming, thereby buying them a few extra years. Even Moana's tribe of people who are water phobic are still gonna have time to see their shriveled coconuts, throw some flex tape onto those centuries-old boats, and move to the next island, which would buy them more time.
Flex that for the win!
So the final death tally for Moana, 261. Not even close. After a thoroughly disappointing performance by Moana, it's up to the last 3 movies to knock my socks off, and I'm confident in the next 2, Atlantis the Lost Empire and Hercules. Sure, Atlantis the Lost Empire ain't one of those beloved Disney classics with the big plastic VHS cover,
But you must understand that this video came out years ago, decades ago. Yeah, I feel old right now.
looking back on it, it's pretty darn good. And at the very least, it is pretty darn deadly. And at this point, that's all I really care about. And since
Oh!
it's gonna need to prove itself in gladiatorial fashion against another strong challenger from the same part of the world, Hercules. In one corner, we've got ourselves a flood that wrecks an entire civilization, and in the other, we have ourselves a complete war between gods and titans, with the world of man caught stuck in the middle. So let's set up those dueling death tickers and get down to it. Atlantis. There's a big chase scene with a Leviathan early on in the movie that accounts for 171 deaths right off the bat. Adding in the king's death in the ending battle, we suddenly jump up to 185. Though it can be hard to tell how many of the explosions we see signifying certain death and how many are just like pew pew pew, boom boom.
I like it that MadPat is just like, maybe it's more like pew pew pew, boom boom, pew 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 pew.
As I believe is the technical term of what we're watching. Hercules. His kills are mostly taking place during the montage of him completing some of the most famous 12 labors of Hercules. Herc kills the Hydra, the Erymanthean boar, the Nemean lion, which looks suspiciously like Scar, a sea monster that isn't part of the labors, but we'll give him credit for anyway, and then the Minotaur, a Gorgon, and some really scary looking bird, two of which were actually fought by the Greek hero Perseus, but you get the idea. We can also give Hercules credit for killing Nessus, the centaur that's torturing Meg. It's unclear in the movie if he's officially dead or if he's just unconscious, but according to Greek myth, Hercules does indeed kill him, so we're gonna go with that. And no, we're not counting Meg. Sure, she dies, but she has to die and stay dead. Meg gets revived before the end of the movie. Also, you can't count Hades because he already lives in the underworld, so based off...
You can't, well, technically speaking, the king of the underworld, so different rules involved.
For these early action sequences, Atlantis, the Lost Empire, has a significant lead. But at the end of the day, this isn't really gonna matter, because these numbers are tiny compared to the huge catastrophic events in both movies, the sinking of Atlantis and the Titanomachy. And here's where the counting has to get creative. Atlantis, the Lost Empire, starts with a giant tsunami headed for the island of Atlantis. A protective barrier bubble thing is formed around the center of the island and sinks it to the ocean. It's not as though everyone in Atlantis dies, but we do see a lot of people banging on that bubble from the outside, and the bubble only ends up saving just a small fraction of the land of Atlantis, which leaves us with an obvious question and a not so obvious answer. How many people die when Atlantis sinks?
People are drowned when that happens.
It'd be nearly impossible to get a decent guess at this just from the design of the city that we see at the beginning of the movie, so we're gonna have to go all the way back to the ancient Greek Atlantis story to determine the most likely death toll. Ditto for when Hades releases the Titans onto Earth and they start wrecking house. Let's start with Atlantis. From a historical perspective, all our information about Atlantis comes from the Greek philosopher Plato. You know, the Plato who tells a story about a farmer who finds himself a ring that makes him invisible but corrupts him morally. A story that J.R.R. Tolkien definitely didn't steal.
Ooh, definitely didn't take reference, emulate, learn from, be educated, thought about it, similar stuff, right? Right?
Anyway, in his dialogue Critias, Plato tells of the continent Atlantis, a 10,000 BC superpower with a great military and tons of technology so advanced that it sank because the gods got jealous and sent a big earthquake/flood combo to take it down. Sounds fine, cool myth, bro, but Plato never mentions how many people live on Atlantis, which would have really done a lot to make my life easier. Bizarrely, the mythical estimates for Atlantis' army ranges from 5 million to over 100 million, and everything in between. But regardless, those numbers give us a bit of an issue because the population of the entire world at the time in 10,000 BC would have been somewhere in the order of 1 to 3 million people. Adding insult to injury, Atlantis probably isn't even from 10,000 BC because
oh, ouch! The myth is not recorded properly. What if it was just fairy tales? like a kid's time story, bedtime story.
Mistranslation basically changed the entire story to 9,000 years ago when it was originally meant to be 900 years ago. So basically, TLDR, we're looking for some historical event that Plato could have based his clearly made-up story on that he then used to pass off as if it were historically true to all his bros. So what historic clues can we find in Atlantis the movie? Well, the one thing we actually know is that there was a tsunami, so we just have to find a massive historical tsunami at the right time and place to make this happen. And for that, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Minoan civilization, located on the island of Crete and most prominent from about 2000 to 1500 BC. The Minoans are most famous for building palaces and being the inspiration for the myth of the Minotaur. But Minoans are also our best proxy for both Atlantis as Plato reported it, as well as how Disney imagined it.
You must understand that it's very sad that this sort of things happens to a fellow human being, even though it occurs hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of years ago. It's still very sad because me being a human being, it really hurts to see that all those technological advances that they made just gone. It's like, ouch. At least they are recorded, that the fact that we can still recognize them, but it really hurts to see that their achievements, what they have done, doesn't matter anymore because it is non-existent. Yeah, and you must understand that multiple different human civilizations, multiple different human societies have collapsed due to earthquakes, tsunamis, droughts, natural disasters, which all in all just sad. I know there's bias involved, but ouch.
The large buildings that we see present in Atlantis, the Lost Empire, would have been extraordinarily rare in the ancient world, but the Minoans were building palaces and multi-story buildings earlier than any other island civilization that we know of. The Minoan language also checks off the boxes from what we see in the movie. Nobody is really sure what Minoan sounded like because we can't read the basic Minoan writing system, known as Linear A, which parallels the fact that no one can read Atlantean in the movie itself.
Yes, I can read Atlantean, just like you. You can't, can you?
No one can.
No one can. It hurts to see that no one else exists other than you that can speak that language. You can't speak.
Most importantly of all, we have an event that would make sense for the quote-unquote sinking of Atlantis. Around 1550 BC, right around the real time Atlantis was supposed to be set without Plato screwing up his dates, the volcanic island of Thera, modern-day Santorini, exploded, destroying part of the island and sending gigantic waves to the shores of Crete, only about 70 miles away. The resulting tsunami devastated the coast of Crete, destroying cities, ruining coastline, and of course, killing a lot of people. Now, I hear ya, Atlantis is supposed to have sunk into the sea, and Crete is still very much around. That said, part of the island of Thera sank. You can actually see where a bunch of it is missing even to this day. So the whole idea is still right that this event sunk an island and destroyed a civilization. So for God's sake, after all of that over-analysis, what the heck is the death count? Well, estimates have the eruption of Thera killing 35,000 Minoans on Crete. Wow. And that's to say nothing of the people who are on Thera itself. Even if we want to use a more conservative estimate, those estimates still run in the range of 20,000 deaths. Definitely enough to dwarf any of our other Disney contenders up to this point.
You must understand, every life is important. Every life is sacred, is cherished. But from a pure mathematical standpoint, from purely analytical standpoint, no matter how many thousands you kill, no matter how many thousands are dead, no matter how many hundreds dies, it's still close to insignificance in the eyes of tens of thousands of deaths. But still, having said that, you must recognize that all life are important. When there's life, there's hope.
So as devastating a historical event as this was based on, the silver lining here is that in the Disney version, there is no way Hercules can beat this, right? I mean, sure, houses are crushed, temples are blown away, but it can't measure up to the explosion of Thera, right? Except, interestingly enough, many people believe that the inspiration for the story of the Titanomachy, the exact scenes that we see take place in Hercules, was the massive eruption of Thera, the same event that we just attributed to the loss of Atlantis. So
but wait, I don't understand. Aren't they supposed to be different time periods? Why?
So the long story short here is that the destruction in these two movies are based on the exact same event. So what is it? Like a tie, then? I mean, effectively, for as much as we can calculate real numbers out of poorly documented historical facts that influenced fictional movies hundreds of years later, yeah. Although Hercules is taking place in Thebes, which is much farther away from Thera than Crete is, so there would be fewer deaths associated with Hercules just by proximity alone. And there you have it, Hercules and Atlantis practically in a tie. I mean, of the two, Atlantis would qualify as the more deadly movie with Hercules in second place, but the two of them have a commanding lead over anything else in the Disney canon that we've covered so far. Congratulations, Disney, on leveraging a devastating global event for children's entertainment. Not just once, but twice. But don't worry, I hear ya. A tie? What? You can't lead us through an entire flippin' trilogy on Disney movies and ruin Christmas and string us along through this ungodly long episode that has itself a flippin' mid-roll just to tell us that it ends in a tie.
A draw, alright? Maybe it's not a tie, maybe it's a draw instead. Sounds good, right? Sounds better? Hopefully.
I mean, I don't write the movies, so take it up with old Walt. Oh wait, there is still one more. Dinosaur. That's right. The Disney feature you didn't know you needed, and then definitely continued to not need because it came out in 2000, and we already had the far superior Land Before Time series since 1988.
Oh my gosh, don't say that, come on. 1998, 2001, either ways, it's literally decades ago. I feel old right now. I feel old.
But regardless, it's a movie that the Disney Animation Studios made, and it is here where the buck stops when it comes to Disney deaths. And I know, you're all like, oh, of course, this movie shows the extinction, right? So many millions of dinosaurs die. And as much as I'd like to just finally end this with the mass extinction of the dinosaurs, this movie actually doesn't show that event. I swear. That would have been the easy way out. But in the entire film, only 5 dinosaurs die. 2 bad guys, 2 good guys, and 1 neutral triceratops. That's it. I know, I couldn't believe it either. But if that's the case, then where else could all the deaths come from? And the grand answer, the answer to where the most Disney deaths come from in the animation studio's 80-year history isn't coming from humans, isn't coming from fish, it's coming from lemurs. Yup, these guys. Prehistoric lemurs. You might be thinking to yourself, gee, I didn't think dinosaurs and lemurs really lived at the same time, and right you would be. Pretty much. There's some research that mammals and dinosaurs did overlap for a very short time at the end of the Cretaceous period when Aladar, our iguanodon protagonist, was supposed to have lived. And it just so happens that one of the oldest animal species to exist in this teeny overlapping sweet spot 60 million years ago were lemurs. And yes, historically you still have to really squint at this one to get any kind of scenario where a monkey family would raise a dinosaur.
Well, understandably, it's quite hard to understand because these are not tens years, hundreds, no thousands, not tens of thousands, not even hundreds of thousands. These are literally millions of years ago stuff. Quite hard to estimate. Like recorded history, nah.
Just gonna have to go with this one in order to make it to the other side of it. So like I said, very few dinosaurs were actually harmed in the making of Dinosaur, but an entire island worth of lemurs were just knocked out in one fell swoop. We see a meteor and the associated fallout land on the uncreatively named Lemur Island in the movie, sending the entire island up in flames except for this small lemur family and our friendly dinosaur hero. The lemur baby even comments that,
oh no. Wait, where is this lemur island that they mentioned in the Disney film?
During the film, thereby confirming for us that every lemur on Lemur Island is now a crispy critter. But of course, that leads to the next obvious question: how in the world do we know how many that is, or even how big Lemur Island is?
Where is it then?
Well, in the most bizarre twist of luck, we actually know the real-world location of Lemur Island because historically there is only one possible location. And it's
where?
the real island off the east coast of Africa called
Madagascar.
I like to move it. In your biology...
Wait, let me try. Let's go. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it, move it. We like to move it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I feel so real.
Lesson for the day. The reason lemurs are lemurs is because they evolved all by themselves over millions of years, isolated from all other primate species on the lonely island of Madagascar.
You shall not pass!
All lemurs, even modern lemurs, started back on Madagascar. So this is literally the only place Lemur Island could be in the entire planet Earth, especially on the order of 60 million years ago when Madagascar had just started to separate from continental Africa. This is also why we only see the dinosaur and lemurs swimming across a narrow channel rather than a huge body of water in the aftermath of the meteor strike. At the time they escaped from Lemur Island was just recently Lemur Peninsula. So with that incredible
Lemur Islands became Lemur Peninsula.
stroke of luck, we now know not only where Lemur Island is, but how big it is. Madagascar is 226,597 square miles in area, but not all of that area is habitable by lemurs. Going by its modern day geography, which is honestly all we got, only about 43,000 square miles of the island is rainforest, which is lemur habitat and also the area where we see the lemurs living in the movie. So how many lemurs could reasonably be living in 43,000 square miles of jungle? Oh, well, this is impossible to know directly, but the lemurs in the movie would have been precursors to the modern ring-tailed lemur, which has a territory size of 0.14 square miles. That means that you could fit yourself 307,143 lemurs onto Madagascar at territory capacity, which is how many lemurs we would have the potential to lose in Dinosaur. Even if we said it was half that number, even if we said it was a tenth that number, we still have our winner by a long shot, by an apocalyptic landslide. Dinosaur is the deadliest Disney movie of all time. Rest in peace, lemurs, and a moment of silence for all the Disney fallen who've gone before you.
Oh my gosh! Oh! Oh!
So after 58 movies and
oh my gosh, you just have to show the Up, the Pixar movie, the Up. Oh my god, that is I cried every single time I watched the two loving couples, one separate. Oh gosh.
3 incredibly long episodes. What does all this mean, my friends? We have come a long way on the Disney death tree. I wanted to highlight how much we've accomplished here by recapping some of our most significant findings. Across the entire Disney canon, 58 original Disney animation studio movies, our estimated total deaths are 344,031.
Alright, note that this video came out in the past. Right now it's in the year 2021, December. So there's a lot more
which is honestly nothing compared to the number of childhood dreams this show kills on a regular basis. Our overall deadliest Disney movie winner is Dinosaur, and a death count of up to 300,000 sapient lemurs. The most deaths of any movie you cared about, or are likely to have seen, however, goes resoundingly to Hercules and Atlantis the Lost Empire, with over 20 to 30,000 deaths each by volcano. Most deaths in a Disney princess movie as
Disney movie and Disney princess movie different.
Well as Disney's deadliest princess goes to Mulan with just over 1,200, very respectable number. Disney's deadliest and most effective villain is Scar from The Lion King at 1,659 deaths. The 1,660th death was his own. Most twisted deaths go to Alice in Wonderland, where the walrus eats 12 oyster babies. Most tragic death ends up going to the accidentally harpooned opera singing whale in Make Mine Music. God just brutally sad. And my personal favorite Disney death goes to Ursula being stabbed in the stomach at the end of Little Mermaid.
What?
And now, finally, with this series over and all this being said, you can now go and we can all collectively kill off 2018 to start the old kill count back at 0 for 2019. This has been an incredibly fun but totally exhausting project to finish off the year. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yeah, and you mentioned kill counts? Please don't say that. Please don't say that. Especially when we are going through a global pandemic right now, even at December 2021. If I'm not wrong, the number of counts is in the millions. And last I checked, it is around the entire population of my country. It really hurts to see so many people die.
This was a blast. Let me know if you want to do something similar for Pixar movies, DreamWorks movies, I don't know. I'm game for anything. Thank you so much for your support over this 3-part trilogy. Thank you so much for your continued support of Film Theory, and have a happy new year, everyone. Onward to 2019. I will see you there with more theories, more film theories, and cuts.
Well, thank you so much for watching this video together with me. I hope that you find this video very interesting and quite unique to watch. A bit sad though. Anyways, if you do like this video, please remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you have any share of us. Don't forget to follow my channel, and I sincerely appreciate all of your support and encouragement for my work. Very encouraging and motivating, supportive and wholesome. Thank you all so much for your positivity, and hope to see you all in my next video. Thank you so much. But hey, that's just a theory, a film theory, and cut. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Thank you so much once again. Hope to see you. Bye bye. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Thank you. That's a very long video. Huh. Once you read my last comment, I'll sleep because sleep is so I will wait. Oh my gosh, KJ Profits, thank you so much. This is a long video Thank you so much for being so supportive. Gosh, now I feel bad. I really feel bad. That was like what, 36 minutes? Ooh, wow. Ooh. Gosh, that's a long video. Hope that everything is good. It's me and
place in Thebes, which is much farther. What does all word to 2019?
Alright, all is well. Thank you so much for KJ Profits. Thank you. Next video. 2019. Spider-Man 2! Oh gosh. Alright, hello everyone, it's me. And today, that's right. Spider-Man. Alright, let's go. It's a... And one of my favorites, thank you so much. One of my favorites is Spider-Man as well. I really can't wait for the upcoming No Way Home movie. I want to hear all the amazing efforts that the team have made. The Spider-Man production team have made. They are just awesome individuals. And let's start! Okay, let's go. Spider-Man! Hello everyone, it's me! And today, are you ready for Spider-Man together? Let's go! Spider-Man, Theory Man, Theory Man.
Theory Man, does whatever a theorist can. Spots details with his eyes. He's got stories to theorize. Look out! Here comes a Theory Man. Uses words, doesn't fight. He has memorized Mario's height. If the theory's thin as lead, just say that the character's dead. Look out! Here comes the Theory Man!
Spider-Man's missing mojo.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory.
Hello Internet, welcome to Film Theory. Hello. Let's go.
Where today, can we just stop to appreciate what a great year 2018 was? Oh no, not for me, for Spider-Man. His PS4 game crushed and was nearly Game of the Year. Venom was way more enjoyable than most people expected and earned nearly $1 billion. And Into the Spider-Verse was literally the best animated movie that I have seen in years.
By MadPat the Game Theorist.
I mean, sure, he got dusted out of existence and all that.
Oh my gosh, you say that. I am inevitable.
So that was a bit of a low point, but still, pretty solid year on the whole. And sure, we may have lost one Spidey, press F to pay respects, but heck, Spider-Verse gave us another 6 to root for. They're multiplying like flies. Or spiders, I guess. You know what else it gave us, though? An incredible tribute to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. The one that redefined what superhero movies were in their darkest of days.
Oh gosh! Spider-Man No Way Home! Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh! Oh, Spider-Man No Way Home, get it?
The trilogy responsible for the superhero renaissance. The movies that did the Thanos snap 17 years before it became a spicy meme. Sure, those references at the beginning of Into the Spider-Verse were just that, references to those past movies. This Peter Parker is not the same one as the one from those older movies, but it did get me eager to go back and revisit that original trilogy. For those of you who haven't seen these classics in some time, you know the basic premise. Bobblehead Tobey Maguire gets himself bitten by a genetically altered spider. Great power, great responsibility.
With great power comes great responsibility. Thank you so much. He's correct.
Blah blah blah. Your standard Spider-Man. But upon rewatching them, there was one mystery that was never explained in the movies. One that has remained unsolved for the last 17 years, and a mystery that today, I think I can finally answer. You see, in Spider-Man 2, largely considered to be one of the best superhero movies of all time, Peter Parker loses his powers.
Oh my god, Tobey Maguire looks so young.
They just stop working. No explanation, no nothing. Just pooping out at the times that he needs them the most.
Why is this happening to me?
Good question, Peter. That's what I intend to answer today. Taking this as a sign, Peter briefly gives up the mask to focus on his personal life. Later, when the threat of the super powerful Doc Ock emerges, Spidey's dragged back onto the scene, and wouldn't you know it, his powers just conveniently come back the moment that he needs them.
Definitely not plot armor. Definitely not Deus Ex Machina.
And of course, all this is probably just for plot convenience. But you know how I roll. If there's an explanation that goes beyond, well, it was important to the theme of the movie, then I'm gonna find it. And I think I have. I believe that there is a legitimate scientific explanation for this seemingly random plot thread in Spider-Man 2. One that not only fills the narrative gap and gives us greater insight into the movie's themes, but also gives us a bit more information on the nature of Peter's spider abilities. So to truly understand what's happening, we have to first rewind to Spider-Man 1. So in the first movie, running parallel to Peter's spider puberty is the story of Norman Osborn, his best friend's father, who does some
spider puberty.
sciencing on himself to gain laboratory-induced superpowers with just a dollop of madness. As the newly born Green Goblin, Norman does all the usual villain stuff: menace New York, turn people into spooky, scary skeletons, dress as an old woman, and star in terrible Broadway musicals. Oh man, the stories I could tell you about that show. And yes, that character with the inflatable T-Rex coming out of his chest is the Lizard. Give that man a Tony! Anyway, the film comes to a dramatic climax when Norman drops both a tram car and Mary Jane off the Roosevelt Island Bridge. Spidey manages to save them both. Get dunked on, Andrew Garfield! But in the
oh my gosh, that roasts, burn, ouch.
course of the final battle ends up killing Norman.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
Unsurprisingly, this takes a mental toll on Peter. After Norman's funeral, he rejects the advances of Mary Jane.
All I wanted was to tell her how much I loved her. I can't.
And listens to his best friend Harry swear vengeance upon Spider-Man.
I swear on my father's grave, Spider-Man will pay.
It's shortly after that we see Peter's powers start to fail. So looking at the events of the first movie and how they impact Peter in the second, it's my theory that Peter's power loss is directly tied to him suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is a really real situation.
Let's look at the facts. The Anxiety and Depression Association of America, or ADAA for short, lays out 4 categories of diagnostic criteria for PTSD, and Peter Parker in Spider-Man 2 qualifies in each and every one. The first set of criteria relate to the trauma itself. To pass diagnosis in this category, a patient needs to have gone through one of the following: either directly experiencing a traumatic event themselves, witnessing in person a traumatic event, or learning about traumatic events occurring to a close family member. Peter doesn't just hit one of these, he hits all 3. In the first movie, Peter, in a matter of months, experiences 2 indescribably traumatic events, both of which involve the death of father figures. First, Uncle Ben, and then Norman Osborn, a man who claims,
I've been like a father to you.
And not only do both men die, and not only does he witness both of those deaths, but they are both dead because of the action or inaction of Peter. He doesn't stop the robber, which directly leads to Sandman shooting Uncle Ben. And after some brutal psychological warfare from Norman,
The goblin killed. I had nothing to do with it. Don't let him take me again. I beg you. Protect me.
Spider-Man jumping over the glider finishes off his other father. And all of this is without even mentioning his childhood love getting kidnapped because of her association with Peter. It's pretty much unquestionable that Peter has every reason to be suffering some level of PTSD, but
yes, some level of PTSD. What MacPat says correct. PTSD is real, but sometimes it can be, the level of it is different for everyone. Some people's level is so high, some people's level is so low, in which different treatment involved.
Is he really? Well, to know for sure, we have to move on to the second category of criteria, which looks at any lingering psychological effects of the trauma and whether memories of it are intruding into everyday life. Of the following, patients must be experiencing at least one to be diagnosed as suffering from PTSD. That list includes unwanted memories of the event interrupting the day, having dreams related to the trauma, psychological distress when exposed to cues that remind you of the event, or physiological reactions to those same cues. Throughout Spider-Man 2, we see memories of Uncle Ben intruding into Peter's everyday life. Ben's oft-repeated mantra, with great power comes great responsibility, drives Peter until he ultimately tells his uncle,
I can't live your dreams anymore.
We also know that Peter is having difficulty sleeping. He's suffering from repeated dreams of these traumatic events, as he reports to his doctor.
You say you can't sleep.
And as Dr. Connors says,
You always appear exhausted.
In short, Peter checks off each and every one of these qualifiers. And remember, only one is necessary for a diagnosis of PTSD. The third criteria required for an official diagnosis looks at the trauma's effects on a patient's emotional life and self-identity. Of the massive list that you see on screen right now, only 2 are required to move into the final stages of diagnosis. But Peter checks off a solid 6, a sinister 6, if you will. If by sinister 6 we're replacing a man-vulture with persistent feelings of detachment. While the first 2, negative beliefs about the world and blaming yourself for the trauma, are kinda sorta, okay, absolutely 100% true in Peter's case, there's no doubt that he's isolating himself from the rest of the world, as both MJ and Harry complain about how hard it's been to see Peter.
I really like it that Spider-Man's story is so relatable, that people from all walks of life is able to at least recognize that it is possible for me to happen. If a superhero can experience this and overcome these challenges in life, maybe I can also do it as well. Maybe I can also be a superhero. Maybe even you can be a superhero as well. Thank you so much, Spider-Man, for being so motivating, inspirational, and such a good role model for everyone.
Where you been, pal? You don't return my calls.
He's self-sabotaging at his job.
Where you been? Looking for you all morning. Why don't you pay your phone bill?
Struggling to pursue the activities in life that he wants to enjoy.
Where were you headed, Parker?
To your class.
My class is over.
I'm trying. I want to be here.
And slowly eroding the most important relationship in his life.
Do you love me?
I don't.
Missing Mary Jane's performances in her new play. And when he sees her pulling away into the arms of other people, wouldn't you know it, but that's when his powers truly start to falter. The powers appear to be tied to Peter's mental health. But to know for sure, we have to move on to the final diagnostic category, changes in arousal.
Yeah, baby!
No, not that sort of arousal. The way you react to stimuli in the world around you.
Okay, thank you so much for keeping it wholesome and family friendly. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And once again in this final category, Pete checks practically every item off the list. Problems with concentration, problems with sleep, easy to startle. Unlike the first film, Spider-Man becomes far more hyper-vigilant in the second movie, staying up all night listening to the police radio, just hoping for something to come up. But where this theory really shines is in explaining why Peter's powers come back. In the movie, they just sort of reappear. Mary Jane gets kidnapped, boom, they're back. It is never addressed. But it can't just be Peter reacting heroically in the moment. He's already done that with a child trapped in a burning building earlier in the movie, and his powers didn't come back then. No, there's something deeper here, something more psychological at play. You see, while it's not perfect, and certainly not clinical, Peter does manage to give himself some rudimentary PTSD therapy in the movie. After some advice from a very chill doctor,
You always have a choice, Peter.
Peter gives up.
Oh, that's very good. Some very chill, very wise, knowledgeable doctor. Thank you so much for helping Spider-Man. You're the hero of the hero.
His costume and starts focusing on his normal life again. He gets his job under control. He's back to his studies full force. He re-engages with his friends again, seeing
Have a life.
Mary Jane's play, reconnecting with Aunt May, even reaching out to his neighbor in a B-plot romance that you think is going somewhere but then gets totally forgotten about despite her being totally available, totally into Peter, and totally making mean chocolate cake.
Sorry.
Tag justice for neighbor girl. This behavior on the part of Peter Parker correlates to the type of work that you'd be doing in IPT, or interpersonal psychotherapy, which specifically has the patient resolving lingering issues with people around them in order to get more control over their life, in order to attain a support network and ultimately come to handle their past trauma. Through these interactions in the movie, Peter is forced to confront some major questions about his relationship with Uncle Ben and his behaviors as Spider-Man, which in turn helps him come to terms with both Ben and Norman's deaths. Mix all of that in with a healthy amount of outdoor exercise and an overall healthier lifestyle.
Overall healthier lifestyle. Thank you so much for mentioning it and encouraging everyone to have a proper, active, healthy lifestyle.
Both of which are regular recommendations for anyone struggling with a mental health disorder, and Peter has really done some heroic work. Only this time not for the city of New York, but for himself. Finally, after all these years, why Peter's powers disappear makes sense. He's dealing with the impact of emotional trauma. Trauma that he never had the chance to properly address and deal with in his life when he was having to double as Spider-Man. And the powers only return when he's able to step back, give himself the self-care that he needs, and help himself before he reaches out to continue helping others.
True, I agree with you. Having some psychological care, some emotional care, some treatment to it, and treat yourself better from time to time. And if you're going then shoot, have a proper active lifestyle. Thank you so much. This is so wholesome.
The saddest thing about this is that it's never explicitly addressed in the film. That Spider-Man, in addition to serving as a role model of physical strength, could have also been shown as a role model of psychological strength, of living with and handling not just goblins and demons out in the real world, but the even more dangerous and seemingly unstoppable ones that lived inside his own head. At the end of the day, this theory just goes to show that everyone, including superheroes, have their own issues, and that battling against depression or the effects of trauma might not be as visually exciting as a battle against Tentacle Doctor over here, but it's a battle that is far more real, far more scary, and far more important than any of the ones that you see happen in Spider-Man 2. And that sometimes the most heroic action you can do is taking the time to rescue yourself before you try rescuing someone else. And with that, there are no more mysteries left in the Sam Raimi trilogy. Well, except for how a woman born in Brooklyn has a British accent.
It's whether over the dam or under the bridge or wherever you like it.
I'm on to you, Aunt May. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut.
Awesome, just awesome. Thank you so much. At the end of the day, it's very important to grow up, to learn. Even if you are the age of 70 years old, 80 years old, you can still grow up. Yes, there's a lot of things that you can learn from. There's a lot of things that you have to overcome through your life. Even if you're 80 years old, 90 years old, 100 years old, you still can grow up, you still can learn. People can say, proper adulting, going through life with a smile. Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video together with me. If you do like this video, please remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel and comment down below if you have anything to share with us. Don't forget to follow my channel, and I sincerely appreciate all of your support and encouragement for my work. Thank you so much. It's very motivating, uplifting and encouraging for me to continue doing with all your support as well. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you all in my next video. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. Thank you. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Thank you so much once again. Please do remember to subscribe to my channel. Bye bye! Subscribe! Alright, that was one video done. I really like this wholesome video. This is just awesome. That's such a wonderful video. Such a wonderful video. I still got 4 more videos to write too. 4 videos is 2 hours, less than 2 hours. Can? 2 hours can.
I'm Geraldo Rivera, and you're about to witness a live
How should I start with hello everyone, it's me, SpongeBob SquarePants. this, bro? SpongeBob. SpongeBob. Square pants. SpongeBob SquarePants. SquarePants. Secret ingredient. Ingredients. Oh, I need to go. I got bye. Thank you so much, KV Profits. Thank you so much. Alright. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Hope to see you all. Hope to see you tomorrow for my next live stream tomorrow. Yeah, once again, I'm Humdrum Singaporean, I'm Mundane Singaporean, I'm just another Singaporean, I'm a mediocre, plain, boring, average Singaporean, and I hope to see you in my next live stream. Bye bye, KV Profits. I'm still continuing live streaming lah, but you have to go now. Thank you. Rest well. Bye bye. Let's go. I'm ready. Hello everyone, it's me, and today let's find the secret SpongeBob SquarePants ingredient together. Oh my gosh, one more time. I mess up. One more time. I'm ready. Hello everyone, it's me. Let's find the secret I'm ready. Hello everyone, it's me, and today let's find the secret SpongeBob SquarePants ingredient together. Let's go.
I'm Geraldo Rivera, and you're about to witness a live television event. A
Live!
massive concrete vault has been discovered. Well, tonight, for the first time, that vault is going to be open live.
Holy shrimp!
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory.
Hello Internet, welcome to Film Theory. Hello.
The show that uncovers secrets with all the determination and success of plankton.
Under the sea, yeah.
Oh, shoot, that's not really a good thing, is it? SpongeBob SquarePants as a franchise has been so omnipresent since its debut in 1999 that I think most of us assumed that it would never go away, which is part of the reason why the loss of Steven Hillenburg, its creator at age 57 by ALS, was so tragic. It's not exaggerating in the slightest to say that he gave us some of the most iconic characters, most quotable lines, and memorable moments of recent history. He is, without question, one of the most influential people in children's programming and current internet culture. It's probably for all those reasons that one of the most requested film theory topics of the last year has been from SpongeBob.
With all the memes involved, yes, he's a respectable individual.
Specifically, the question that all us burger lovers, sponge lovers, and spongy burger lovers want to know: what is the Krabby Patty's secret formula? It's a question that's persisted for so long that it feels like it should be sacrilegious to try and answer it. But if there's one thing that film theory stands for, it's treating nothing as sacred. So today, SpongeBob is on the menu, and I consider it my honor to see if we can find out the secret formula that tickles the taste buds of our imagination, or if this secret will remain trapped in Bikini Bottom forever.
Imagination.
The biggest problem with trying to figure out the Krabby Patty secret formula is that any time it comes up in the show, we run into some suspicious problems. These problems make it hard to pinpoint just what the secret formula actually is. We know for a fact that the secret formula for a Krabby Patty is referring to the patty itself, and not what's actually on the burger, because we already know the full list of what goes on these things. Or do we? The Krusty Krab is surprisingly fast and loose with this information, since as early as Season 1, Episode 6, the episode Pickles, SpongeBob reveals all the ingredients to a Krabby Patty with the works.
Wait, what? He just exposed everything? That's not a good practice, right? That's not a good, is he allowed to do that?
I can't put a patty on a bun with lettuce, cheese, onions, tomatoes, ketchup, mustard, pickles, and top bun together in that order!
Okay, so yeah, video end. Video end. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you but hey, that's just a theory, a film theory, and cut. And I hope to see you all in my. I'm kidding. The video is still so long.
The mouth of the chef himself. But then the story changes, because 2 seasons later we hear a different recipe from the Krusty Krab commercial shown in As Seen on TV, Season 3, Episode 7.
Voila!
It's pretty significantly different. This one is missing mustard, tomatoes, and onions, which are not underseas veggies. I'll give him cucumbers, since I guess those could be sea cucumbers. And this one has secret sauce, which SpongeBob didn't list at all, despite him describing a Krabby Patty with the works. Literally everything on it.
Can you make me one with everything?
Oh, and by the way, at no point is it said in the show that you need a pinch of Poseidon powder, like some recent rumors circulating the internet have been saying. That was a mistake on the fan wiki, and it actually has no grounding in the show itself. That's why you gotta be careful when trusting non-primary sources. Though I will say, Poseidon powder is slang for cocaine, and if cocaine were indeed the secret ingredient in these patties, it would result in the addictive power and taste of love that the Krabby Patty often possesses.
Okay. Please stay wholesome and family friendly. Thank you so much.
So maybe it wasn't that far off. But like I said, no actual evidence of it in the show. Because if there was evidence of it in the show, you know I would be all over that like Squidward on a vault full of Krabby Patties. Telling you your favorite cartoon characters are addicted to cocaine is like my favorite pastime. So what is really going on here? Well, for the answer, maybe we can turn to the real recipe. Luckily, in Krabby Road, Season 6, Episode 1, Plankton dupes SpongeBob into joining his band, which gives him a chance to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula, and for the first and, to my knowledge, only time, we actually get a glimpse of it right before Plankton is caught. And what we see is gibberish? What's the deal? This is the official Krabby Patty secret formula kept in the restaurant, so why is it just a bunch of gobbledygook? Well, 2 different possibilities exist. Possibility 1, it's the real formula, but it's written down using some kind of coded cipher. And if Plankton had the right decryption key, he could translate that garbled gibberish into the real thing. Possibility 2, this ingredients list isn't real. Mr. Krabs is lying about the recipe. And if you try to break apart this formula, this starts to seem more and more likely. One of the most common ways to break a simple cipher is with frequency analysis. The idea being that if you have a long enough string of text, you can match certain letters in the cipher to certain letters based on their frequency. For example, a letter that appears a lot of times in
But hey, that's just a theory. Thanks for watching.
The cipher is more likely to be a vowel like E or A, or a consonant like S or T. But when we run SpongeBob's Krabby Patty formula through a frequency analysis tool, we find these results. The most common letters are H and G, followed by S, F, and D. The frequency analysis tool doesn't suggest any possible solutions to the cipher. G, D, S, G, E, H, S, G is pretty hard to map onto anything when it has so many repeating letters, let alone a word that would actually show up in an ingredients list. Plugging that into a cryptogram solver, the only words that could possibly translate into these letters are kickback, gangling, tastiest, and elsewise. None of these are Krabby Patty ingredients. You can't have 4 cups of elsewise. Tastiest looks promising, but if you try to use that cipher to solve the rest of the recipe, you just get even more gibberish, and none of the other words work out. But the letters and their frequency could still provide another hint. You see, they're all letters from the middle part of the keyboard, and the 2 most common letters are H and G specifically, which are in the absolute dead center of the keyboard. What would fit perfectly basically, with this arrangement of letters, is if someone like Mr. Krabs just wanted SpongeBob to think that this was the secret recipe, and so he just mashed on the keyboard to produce these non-words. And here's where Mr. Krabs' real secret formula starts to come out.
Oh my goodness! So he lied. Of course he lied lah. Of course that is his character set up in the plot. But wow, he lied like that without any repercussions. Of course he did lah. This is a show, come on. But still, wow.
It's all a ruse. There is no secret formula. It's why the ingredients list for the Krabby Patty seems so variable throughout the series, both with and without the special sauce. Why the official patty recipe is a bunch of keyboard mashing. It's here that we learn a very important lesson about SpongeBob as well as our own world. It's not about the food, it's about the business. Mr. Krabs is a lot of things, and one thing he is not is an expert chef, but what he is an expert businessman. The secret to the Krusty Krab's success isn't his amazing recipe, but his amazing marketing ability. He creates the mystery around his patty as a one-of-a-kind burger. Well,
mystery.
Let's face it, this is a hamburger, Krabby burger, whatever. It's not unique. The secret formula is all just a big marketing ploy. Doesn't seem likely.
It's like a trick to fool you, to lie to you, a mirage, an illusion, a magic trick, a malinger, something similar to that.
Let's look at examples in the real world. Technically, there is nothing about a McDonald's burger that you can't replicate at home or at another restaurant. Comparing the Big Mac to the Big King, these things are essentially the same. Most of the value from McDonald's lies in the brand that people trust to produce 100,000 burgers per day at over 30,000 locations around the globe, all making it possible to go to almost any city in the world, see those golden arches and say, yeah, I know what kind of experience I'm gonna have there. I don't know if I'll like anything else around here, so I might as well get the good old reliable Big Mac instead of taking a chance at that mom and pop hoagie stand. McDonald's is...
But if you are traveling to a new place, why not find something new? And something that is worth something that is like special to show that you actually been to this place, experience the culture, experience their stories.
His brand is reliability. The Krusty Krab's brand is uniqueness. It's the reason that McDonald's spends $2 billion a year on advertising. You can make the best food in the world, but if no one knows about it, you're gonna go out of business pretty quickly. But if you're a savvy businessman like Mr. Krabs, or a $137 billion company like McDonald's, creating awareness for your brand is a lot more important than serving up patties that are objectively the best tasting. The Krabby Patty is the ultimate guerrilla marketing tactic. You start a rumor about your own franchise that makes it sound vague and mysterious.
Love it! Kind of vague and mysterious.
And then rather than spend money on marketing, you let word of mouth do the work for you. And you get people talking about your product without having to spend a dime.
Well, that sounds very interesting.
Don't think Mr. Krabs is
Oh, that's interesting. It's like own advertisements, earned advertisements. Something like that.
Tactic work. SpongeBob debuted in the 90s and people are still talking about the Krabby Patty secret formula, trying to uncover the elusive bit of knowledge in a fictional show.
Yes, literally decades, you know. Okay, you can play with centuries or millennials, but decades, you know.
A piece of knowledge that doesn't really exist. For a real-world example, consider the Nameless Juice brand, a brand of lemonade that refuses to actually put a brand name on itself and instead is just known for its mysterious flavor. The actual secret behind the fruity drink is that it contains some vegetable juice as well, which makes it about as unique as V8, so basically not at all. That said, the mystery around that brand has driven massive underground word of mouth. Heck, even McDonald's own secret sauce is just mayonnaise, pickles, mustard, and a few spices, but the fact that they call it secret makes it seem like it's more exclusive and therefore more in demand than it really is. So both in real life and in 2000s cartoons, it's not about having the Krabby Patty secret formula, it's just about having something you call a secret formula.
Oh, with your imagination.
And as a bonus in SpongeBob, it distracts Mr. Krabs' main competitor by sending Plankton on a wild goose chase for a formula that he's never actually gonna be able to find. The only thing that throws a monkey wrench into Mr. Krabs' plans, though, are his employees. Hence, he hires someone like Squidward, who doesn't really care about the secret, and SpongeBob. SpongeBob is honest to a fault, a real stand-up sponge, and he doesn't take kindly to things like fraud and deception. So if SpongeBob knew about the Krabby Patty's lack of a secret formula, he might let that slip, or feel guilty about implicitly lying to everyone every time he served up a burger.
Such an honest worker. Unfortunately, in the real world, such individuals, if they're under the wrong kind of leaders, they'll be made use of. They'll be enslaved, unfortunately.
So Mr. Krabs' solution...
Like, I mean, history, thousands of years of history shows.
Slap his claws on
bad leaderships.
the keyboard for a minute and give SpongeBob a fake formula. Make him think it's real, and don't worry if it ends up getting stolen. It sounds outlandish, or just a cop-out to say that there's no real formula and that there's nothing secret to the Krabby Patty that makes it magically delicious. I mean, we all remember how Squidward completely lost his mind the first time he sunk his teeth into a Krabby Patty in just one bite.
I love Krabby Patties!
Oh my gosh! This guy really loves his Krabby Patties. I love Krabby Patties! Yeah!
Surely there must be something at work here. And there is. It's just marketing once again. According to Aaron Garvey, an assistant professor of marketing at the UK Gatton College of Business and Economics,
it's not Bikini Bottom University.
The way that people feel about a product is heavily linked to psychology and their brand association with that product. In his research,
brand associations with the product.
He found, quote, you could take the exact same product that you were thinking about taking to market and you could put it in front of consumers. And you could change what price you were going to launch it at and you could change what brand it was. And they would have dramatically different impressions of that product. And they would tell you incredibly different things about that product. That they thought it was made of different materials, that they thought it weighed more, or that it weighed less. So when Mr. Krabs says that the Krabby Patty's secret formula is what makes it so delicious, he's actually not lying. If he's created a brand association, created what is essentially a legendary burger, people will experience it differently. If what people believe about a product's weight or materials is dependent on the brand they believe it is, that effect is going to be just as strong, if not stronger, when it comes to totally subjective qualities like how good a burger tastes. The Krabby Patty secret formula might have started as a lie, but now the real secret ingredient is an ingredient that everyone thinks is there, but one that doesn't truly exist. But hey, have you ever wanted to be a grill master like SpongeBob, or a rich, successful businessman like Mr. Krabs? Well, whatever your career goals, I bet you're ready for Skillshare, our sponsor for today.
I'm ready.
Skillshare is where actual real-life experts can teach you everything you need to know to fry up the best burgers in all of Bikini Bottom, or just make a fortune by managing a business that isn't a chum bucket. I've talked plenty about Skillshare in the past, about how they're a learning community where you can learn everything from production skills to YouTube strategies from some of the top people in their fields. But one thing that I haven't mentioned yet is that they also have culinary classes. Personally, I suck in the kitchen, like really bad, but I am getting better and I'm learning from Skillshare. One thing that I've always been nervous about has been cutting and chopping, but thanks to the 12-minute video Knife Skills, a mini class to chop like a chef, I am, well, I'm not a pro, but I'm slightly less awful. And mind you, that has nothing to do with the class. The class is great. It's more to do with me. I also love ice cream, and there's a class dedicated to how to make gelato. Even more general classes like DIY food photography, capturing food in your kitchen, can bring out your inner hipster. And then once you've learned how to take pictures of your food instead of, eating said food, you can then monetize your photography chops with the class specifically on becoming an Instagram influencer. Yes, there are classes for you to take pictures of your food, and then other classes for you to learn how to monetize the pictures of said food. So why wait? Start raking in more than just sand dollars. Click on the link in the description below, which I'm also showing here on screen in case you're that person who wants the unique pleasure of typing in a long string of text into your URL bar. Watch out, ladies. This person knows how to spend a Friday night. And check out their premium membership, which gives you unlimited access to all of their 25,000 plus courses. It's an investment in yourself for less than $10 a month. And the first 1,000 of you watching to use the link in the description will get 2 months absolutely free. So go, do it. Start the year off right by doing yourself a favor. Link is in the description, and while you're busy Krabby Pattying it up, I'll still be here working on those knife skills. Oh, good lord, those blades are so big. Yeah!
Oh, ouch, that hurts. Well, anyways, thank you so much for watching this video together with me. I hope that you find this video very interesting and unique to watch together with me. Quite interesting, right? Quite enjoyable and entertaining. Anyways, if you do like this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you have anything to share with us. Don't forget to follow my channel, and sincerely appreciate all of your support and encouragement for my work. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you all in my next video. But hey, that's just a theory, a film theory, and cut. Thank you. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye! Thank you so much. Once again, subscribe. Alright, days. Right, 2 hours plus already. I swear my left, this is my left hand. This thumb over here hurts. I think it's because I've been using the phone over here with my phone, and then just my left thumb hurts a lot. I should stop using the phone like that. It really hurts.
A portion of today's episode is brought to you by
Captain Marvel! Hello everyone, it's me, MCU, Captain Marvel. Let's talk about. Hiya! Hello everyone, it's me, and today MCU. One more time. Hiya! Hello everyone, it's me, MCU. Let's talk about Captain Marvels together.
A portion of today's episode is brought to you by the Google Pixel 3. Hello, internets, and this is Film Theory, the show where we always expose the so-called heroes for the psychopaths that they really are. Today we're talking about Captain Marvel. Can she be trusted? No, she cannot. Therefore, we must band together and bring down... What's going on here?
Wait, there's 2 Mad Pats? A doppelganger. Wow.
Look, it's a Skrull imposter of me. Me, yes, the real Matt Pat. No, I'm pretty sure that I'm the real Matt Pat. I think the viewers are smart enough to tell the difference, right? You very clearly understand that this is me. You can tell based on that buttery smooth voice. This other guy's voice is all kind of obnoxious. Sounds like a Green Goblin ripoff. Look at him over there with that smug grin. You know that this is the real MatPat because of this voice. My voice is annoying to a large majority of the internet, and you can tell that because my voice is quite annoying right now. I mean, look, it's me. I'm even holding a Diet Coke. Looks like he's drinking a Mountain Dew or something. I don't know. I don't drink a Mountain Dew. At the very least, it would be a Diet Mountain Dew. Diet sodas are just what I prefer. My stomach doesn't really adjust all that well to fully sugared sodas. It's just a fact of the matter. You know that he's the imposter. Does he even wear his hair that way? No, he does not. Probably not.
Well, actually, both of you are incorrect because the MatPat right now is DeadPat. Both of you are wrong!
To these episodes more as podcasts, really, but I'm not some evil doppelganger. How dare you suggest that?
He even said, hello internet, and this is filmed. That's not the phrase. He doesn't even know the phrase. How could you possibly go with this guy? That is not what I say every episode. Oh, come on.
Film Theory.
Hello internet, welcome to Film Theory.
Welcome back! Hello internet, welcome to Film Theory. Hello!
The real Film Theory,
The
except
real.
no substitutes.
And how do I know you're not a Skrull?
Now you're getting it.
As we prepare for the upcoming release of Captain Marvel, I've become obsessed less with her as a character and more with her foes, the shape-shifting Skrulls. As the trailers have shown, anyone, even a kindly old grandma on the metro, can turn out to be a highly trained, deadly Skrull warrior. Well, there's your first clue, Captain Marvel. This is on the Los Angeles subway. No normal human being rides that thing. That's not a statement about the people who ride it, it's more about LA's lackluster public transportation system. Anyway, if you think Kevin Feige and the team over at Marvel is gonna be content with revealing one random little old woman as a Skrull, then I don't think you've been paying attention. Captain America's best friend killed Iron Man's mom, Loki has been written off as dead multiple times, and oh yeah, the entire good guy team of S.H.I.E.L.D. turned out to be controlled by their arch nemesis Hydra. Twist reveals are as integral to this franchise as shots of topless men. So with Captain Marvel...
Ooh, there's a lot of six-pack. A lot of abs. Yeah.
Being the only movie left before we head into the end game and the next phase of the MCU, I think we can all expect one or two last big gut punch reveals that some familiar face we've been seeing over the last 10 years might just be an alien in disguise. So today, it is my goal to predict where the secret Skrulls are hiding in the MCU while also exonerating any of the key suspects. Can we see the twists coming before it hits theaters? Probably not, based on my track record, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna try.
Yeah, okay. Probably not, but he's gonna try, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt, even though he might be wrong. I mean, I love MatPat that he just come out and just answer his own questions. I may be correct, but I might probably be wrong.
Using evidence, logic, and solid narrative structure, gosh darn it. Oh, and in case it wasn't obvious yet, spoilers for all the MCU movies up through Ant-Man and the Wasp. Before we start, let's all review our Skrull basics to ensure
Sorry, spoilers.
that we're working with the same set of knowledge. Because the Skrulls haven't made an official MCU appearance yet, even if they have been there the whole time in hiding, it means that we're not 100% sure what features of these characters will be used from the original source material. But it is still probably the best place to start. The Skrulls were an ancient race of green-skinned humanoids with pointy ears, who were initially peaceful when they interacted with other civilizations. Due to their genetic instability, they are blessed with the ability to shapeshift, making it easy for them to facilitate trade and conduct diplomacy. As a result, their civilization grew and prospered. Well, at least until they met the Kree.
You're a Kree, a race of noble warriors?
Heroes.
You sure about that, Captain Marvel? It must depend on who you ask, since our only exposure to the Kree up to this point has been Guardians of the Galaxy, in which old purple-eyes blue dragon Ronan the Accuser over here was of the Kree race.
You must understand. Heroes, villains, who write them? Who is the villain? Who is the heroes? Only the victors gets to write history. Even if you are the bad guy, I can still write myself good.
Which
should give you some example of their disposition.
I will unfurl 1,000 years of Kree justice on Xandar and burn it to its core.
Someone's an angry boy.
You call me boy!
The Skrulls and Kree go to war for hundreds of thousands of years, changing the Skrulls into a warrior race. And from there on out, it's basically never a good thing when either the Kree or the Skrulls show up on Earth. As I've mentioned, the Skrulls' main ability is shape-shifting, and usually it's just limited to that, shape. Able to copy practically anything. Organic, like a cow, or inorganic, like a lamb. Able to copy inorganic things, maybe the Time Stone was actually a Skrull in disguise.
That's just dumb.
But
I'm sorry, but what the? Your imagination is off the chart, man. Your imagination.
That's not all. They also have the ability to copy memories, making them even harder to spot.
The Skrull had her appearance, her voice, yes. But it also had her memories. She was a perfect copy in every way.
Once you reveal a Skrull, the fight's just beginning. While they're no problem for heavy hitters like Thor or the Hulk, Skrulls do have some serious superhuman strength and a healing factor that's far beyond that of a normal person. There's also a special species of so-called Super Skrulls that can even absorb superpowers. In the cancelled MCU tie-in video game The Avengers, there were even Super Skrulls that seem to have absorbed the powers of Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor all at the same time. So that pretty much makes everyone in the MCU a suspect. No superpowered rage monster or sorcerer supreme is fully safe from suspicion, but we can do some logical deduction to reduce our list of suspects. As bold of a move as it would be, I think it's pretty safe to say that Tony Stark, the de facto main character of the MCU up to this point, is safe from being a Skrull. If he was one, it would be coming out of nowhere. And
he can say that, well, I am inevitable. I am Iron Man.
it would vastly cheapen our entire experience so far with this universe. A twist for twist's sake just wouldn't be worth undercutting a decade's worth of emotional investment into this guy. The same can be said of Captain America, who's already dealt with multiple imposter situations in these movies. Between the Hydra reveal and the Bucky as a killer reveal, betrayal is just part of his everyday life. So for him to pull off the proverbial Scooby-Doo mask to reveal himself as someone different would
Hell Hydra, Hell Hydra, Hell Hydra.
just be unmotivated. Bad storytelling. Next, we can reasonably eliminate the victims from the snapping in Infinity War. Oh, sorry, according to the novelized tie-ins, it's now called The Decimation. Lame. I like riffing on terrible horror movie names where the trees are out to kill humanity.
What? No, the bleep. What? No.
Hashtag
No.
snapping was happening. Well, regardless, if they're going to all the trouble to remove someone from these movies just to bring them back, they're probably not going to be a Skrull. Reveals stacked on reveals just feel kind of cheap from a storytelling standpoint. Or if they did come back, they'd come back in Skrull form, in which case...
You got some explaining to do.
Also included in the group killed in Infinity War would be Loki, who, you know, definitely isn't dead yet. But being a Skrull would just be too many things that Loki is on top of not being dead twice. Clint Barton, who you may know as Hawkeye, seems to be making a return in the persona of Ronin in Endgame, avenging his snapped away family based on them saying
You lost family?
right before showing him in his new outfit. It's not impossible that he's a Skrull, but it would greatly cheapen his Dark Vengeance arc. Also safe from a storytelling perspective is Black Widow, who's about to get her own movie. Going into a solo movie as a recently outed alien imposter is gonna really strain fan acceptance of that new IP.
Oh gosh. Oh. She's going to.
So it certainly seems like she's gonna be safe. And lastly, her beau, Hulk, who was
Oh, she's gonna be safe, you say? She's gonna be safe, you say? Huh.
certainly acting strange in Infinity War. In the past, Bruce could never remember things that happened when he was the Hulk.
Who's that? Well, he kind of runs the place. You actually lived in his house for a while.
I did?
Yeah, quite a lot's happened. You and I had a fight recently.
Did I win?
No, I won, easily.
And yet...
Strongest Avenger! Strongest Avenger! Point Break.
Yet in Infinity War, he remembers both Thanos and the Infinity Stones as Banner.
Thanos is coming.
He's coming.
He's also the perfect candidate for a Skrull takeover, a generally confused professor type who, after Age of Ultron, goes missing for years, meaning there was plenty of opportunity for the old switcheroo, with above-average knowledge of the universe and a best friends list that includes a bunch of superheroes. But I gotta take him off the list too, since Hulk, as a separate entity inside Banner, would certainly reject the imposter, and not in the way that we see in the movie.
Come out! Come out! Come out!
But even with that big chunk of candidates out of the way, we're still left with a number of juicy options. First, Thor, the juiciest of the bunch. Thor just went through a massive character change, going from dark and brooding and thoughtful at the end of Age of Ultron to a big old goofball in Ragnarok. Sure, that was a course correct for a character who is struggling to resonate with audiences, but still, that change could be explained through a Skrull takeover. You know what else could be explained through Skrull control? His ineptitude when it comes to finding Infinity Stones. At the beginning of Thor Ragnarok, he outright says this.
And I went searching through the cosmos for some magic, colorful Infinity Stone things. Didn't find any.
Oh, you didn't, did ya? That's odd considering at the end of Thor the Dark World, even this Asgard grunt knows the location of 2.
But if I may ask, why not keep it secure in your own vault?
The Tesseract is already on Asgard. It is not wise to keep 2 Infinity Stones so close together.
Seems like not even Taika Waititi, director of Ragnarok, was able to get through the entirety of Thor Dark World. And lastly, let's be honest here, it's a bit weird that the god of thunder is repeatedly taken out by an electrical collar shock.
Oh, burn! Ah! You say that Lord of Thunder? No. It's God of Thunder.
Suspicious, right? That said, I'm gonna have to knock him off the list for 2 reasons. First, his actor Chris Hemsworth has hinted that there's more Thor to come, so doing a drastic character upheaval like a Skrull reveal would
Love and Thunder.
risk reverting a character back to a more boring version of himself when he'd finally found the popularity he was looking for with audiences. And secondly, from a lore standpoint, until the hammer breaks in Ragnarok, Thor carries it around with no problem. Lifting Mjolnir isn't a matter of strength or super abilities, but worthiness. A Skrull pretending to be Thor wouldn't be seen as worthy by the hammer, and thus shouldn't be able to lift it. Therefore, Thor is safe. So, who's left? Who are the secret Skrulls, or are we just looking for reveals that'll never happen? I don't think so. The first candidate I, and a bunch of other online theorists, feel really confident about is General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. Who, I hear you asking? Well, Ross made his debut in the second MCU movie ever released, the oft-forgotten Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk!
Where he did what General Ross always does in Hulk stories. He helps create the Hulk, then he fights against the Hulk, then he lets the Hulk go before hunting him down yet again. He creates the Hulk in his obsession with Captain America's super soldier serum. Then he uses Hulk to fight against Abomination. But come Captain America Civil War, Ross is singing a totally different tune.
I don't know, he's just a side character, which I just forget about it.
The general has quit the army and has now risen to the role of Secretary of State. But what really stands out here isn't the change in role, it's his change as it regards enhanced humans. He's a strong advocate for the Sokovia Accords, which puts restrictions on superhero activity, practically the opposite of his views in Incredible Hulk. He explains this change of viewpoint by telling a story.
After 13 hours of surgery and a triple bypass, I found something. Perspective.
It's one of those oddly specific moments in a movie that's either lampshading the clear retcon of his character, or it's setting up some oddly specific details that'll pay off once the change in perspective is revealed to be a Skrull takeover. Anyway, he is now the driving force that's trying to restrict the actions of heroes. He's the one responsible for a bill that drives a wedge between the team, thereby weakening the Avengers and scattering them across the globe, making Earth vulnerable to Skrull attack. He has a high rank, not just in the military, but also in the government at a national and international scale. And his reintroduction in Civil War and shoehorning into Infinity War after 8 years of silence in the MCU is suspicious without measure, especially since his involvement in the former movie was initially teased as being, quote, a new General Ross. And you don't have to take my word for it, from the mouth of the actor himself, quote. What they've done is they've taken a character who was the Ross from the older film and made a new version. This is a much newer Ross, a much different Ross.
a much newer Ross, much different Ross.
End quote. We're on to you, new General Ross. You're not gonna surprise anyone when you reveal yourself as the little green man you are on the inside. So General Ross, in my opinion, is almost certainly a Skrull. But that reveal isn't gonna be all that impactful on anyone. Is anyone really watching at home clutching their General Ross action figures close to their chests, being like, I can't wait to see more from this guy? No, I would assume not. But there is still one very interesting option whose impact might have a little more oomph. Rhodey, aka War Machine. James Rhodey Rhodes is Tony Stark's best friend, and as one of Iron Man's closest and oldest advisors, he'd already be a fantastic target for any intelligence organization. But Rhodey is a double whammy because he's also a high-ranking Air Force officer with the ability to call off strikes on hostile aircraft. That's a pretty handy ability should the Skrull be looking to attack, and that's before you even start considering his possession and mastery of a heavily armed mech suit. He also disappears with the Iron Man Mark II armor for a suspiciously long amount of time in Iron Man 2 before he takes it to his superiors in the military. We know that Tony lives in Malibu, California, and we are expressly told by the movie that Rhodey flies it to Edwards Air Force Base, which is close enough that you could drive between the two locations in a matter of hours. And yet here it is, night to day. Where were you that whole time, Rhodey? Maybe giving that suit to your Skrull friends for an inspection? From a narrative standpoint, Rhodey is one of the best possible choices. He's an important enough character that he's a familiar heroic face, but he's not so important that him having a secret identity would undermine a lot of the emotional stakes that we have in the more well-established characters. Plus, the reveal of Rhodey as a Skrull would be the final blow to Tony, who's already undergone so many changes throughout these other movies. He's changed his motivations, his morals, he's lost that arrogance and swagger with it being replaced by paranoia, he's connected with a son surrogate that he then loses, and he's been forced to question almost every belief that he had back in 2008 when this whole mess started. So,
well, yeah. Tony Stark, love you 3,000, 5,000, 10,000. Oh no, should be. It's over 9,000. Dragon Ball reference.
For Rhodey to go and betray him, reveal that he had been body swapped somewhere before Iron Man 2 when Don Cheadle took over the role, then truly Tony would have to question the last thing he has left, his faith in even his closest of friends. But for actual evidence, we turn yet again to Captain America Civil War. He's one of the very few Avengers to actually sign the Sokovia Accords, helping to ensure the superheroes are restricted in their actions. He's also badly hurt during that movie's airport showdown when Vision misses Falcon's wings and instead hits Rhodey's power supply, causing him to plummet hundreds of feet. Seeing the scene the first time, I was shocked. And then I was shocked again that we were told that he was still alive and only just paralyzed. A fall like that would kill any human, especially a human in hundreds of pounds of armor. No question. But an alien that's slightly stronger than a human and has healing factor? Definitely a lot more believable. And speaking of that healing factor, Rhodey's recovery is equally alien. In just 2 years in movie time, he's strong enough to fight in the Battle of Wakanda? I don't buy it. Sure, Tony builds him artificial legs, but look at famous stuntman Evel Knievel, who fell from much lower heights and broke no less than 35 bones in his body. His recovery time was often years, with him self-reporting that he spent more than half the years between 1966 and 1973 in hospitals, in wheelchairs, on crutches. There is no way that Rhodey is back to fighting form that quickly without some Skrull levels of healing. So unless Rhodey's about to reveal that he's been hiding Wolverine in his basement, which I gotta admit would be a pretty hilarious way to explain where the X-Men have been this whole time, we may need to start considering that Tony Stark's best friend may not be who Tony thinks he is. But hey, that's just...
Remember this kid? This is him now. Feel old yet? Oh gosh! Let me try. Oh my gosh. I feel old.
Just a theory, a film theory, and cut. Can we seriously talk for a minute about how excited I am for superhero movies at this point? Into the Spider-Verse was so good. One of the best animated movies I've seen in a long time. The Far From Home trailer has me very hyped to see my boy Mysterio on screen and curious about where they're gonna take that story. Now,
oh wow, Homecoming, Far From Home. And the last one is No Way Home.
from a literal standpoint, since obviously it's all about a trip through Europe. And Endgame is the climax of a decade of incredible superhero crossovers. And you know when he comes back from being dusted, Peter Parker is going to be all about that epic superhero selfie now that he's an official Avenger.
Kid, you're an Avenger now.
Except there's one problem here. How do you cram all those capes and broad shoulders together into one epic selfie? There's just too many of them, especially when one is a giant green rage monster. Well, it would be a problem if it wasn't for the sponsor of this portion of today's episode, the Google Pixel 3. Quite literally, the superhero of phones. And nothing shows this off better than the phone's camera. Have too many super friends in your shot? Well, the Pixel 3 has dual front-facing cameras that enable super wide shots, turning the selfie into the groupie. No longer are you dependent on the guy with the elastic arm power to take the picture. Make sure that you're getting your whole self, or the superhero fight that's going on behind you, into the picture every time. And we all know that superheroes like to work at night, which leads to some terrible photo ops. Typically, the low light would produce something that looks like this, muddy and dark. But with Pixel 3's night sight, which uses a combination of algorithms and machine learning, the picture becomes this. Not a moment of copyright-neutral crime fighting will be missed. Seriously though, this mode is like magic. I used it a lot during the holidays. It was incredible. Eat your heart out, Sorcerer Supreme. And last, but certainly not least, there's Top Shot, where Google's machine learning can process the frames before and after the shutter was pressed to find the best image of you possible, ensuring that every picture gets smiles and not blinks, which is a great feature for family photos and slightly less relevant if your face is covered in an expressionless superhero mask to hide your secret identity all the time. So whether you're a teenager looking to grab some great shots during your international field trip, struggling to fit your whole superhero self into frame, or just looking to put some better selfies on the web, the World Wide Web that is, check out the Pixel 3, quite literally the superhero of phones. For more info, check out the link in the description. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go see Spider-Verse again. There are so many Easter eggs. Those were all theories for another day. Filled with theories and cuts.
Wow! Spider-Man! Can't wait for it to come out as well. Thank you so much for watching this video together with me. If you do like this video, please remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel and comment down below if you have anything to share with us. Don't forget to follow my channel and sincerely appreciate all of your support and encouragement for my work. Thank you all so much. You are all the best for your positivity and your encouragement and your wholesomeness as well. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Thank you. But hey, that's just a theory, a film theory, and cut. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye bye. Thank you. And cut. Okay, video ends. Whew. Wow, that was a long video. That's a long video. Hi. Okay, so I noticed there's a new viewer. So hi. Hello, doing. Hi. Wow, that's a very long video. 90 minutes. Oh, 90 minutes. Oh my goodness. That explains a lot. That really explains a lot. So, hi. How are you doing? Thanks so much for coming over to my live stream. If you're new here, hi. I'm just another average Singaporean. I'm humdrum Singaporeans, I'm mediocre Singaporeans, I'm mundane Singaporeans, I'm plain, boring, dull, average Singaporeans, I'm a not normal Singaporeans. I'm just nothing special. Yes. So yeah. 2 more videos. Zanen. How long is this? This is 18 minutes, gosh. 18 minutes. Bingo. Hello everyone, it's me, and today let's watch Bird Box together. Alright, let's go. Hello everyone, it's me, and today let's watch Bird Box together. Let's start.
Ow! Who even hangs pots and pans from the ceiling? That is so dumb. Just need to cut my sandwich in half and... that's gonna leave a mark. Now where are those stairs? Found him. Forget the stupid monster. The most dangerous thing in Bird Box is the second story. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory.
Hello Internet, welcome to Film Theory. Hello.
Forcefully opening your eyes to the mind-scarring truths hidden in all your favorite movies. So Netflix is really hitting out of the park recently, isn't it? Between the choose-your-own-adventure movie Bandersnatch and the totally not A Quiet Place ripoff Bird Box, there's been a lot of bingeable theory fodder coming out of the ole. And while Bandersnatch might seem like the one that's more up my alley, considering the video game theme and all that, it's actually Bird Box that I want to tackle first, mostly because the movie had one question that I think we all want answered: what the heck was the monster?
And also you must understand that, well, Squid Game came out as well, so yeah.
To catch you up, Bird Box follows a group of people trying to survive a worldwide catastrophe in which people are driven to kill themselves after they witness something. No. In order to survive, you have to keep your eyes shut, or else wear a blindfold, leading to this iconic imagery from the movie and all these other really dumb Bird Box challenge videos on YouTube. It's a really cool concept. Just like noise was the dangerous element from A Quiet Place, sight is the thing that gets you killed in Bird Box. But the frustrating thing about the movie is that you never actually get to see the monster. It's never made explicitly clear what exactly is driving everyone to this point of madness. So that is my goal today, to use all the clues that we see and don't see throughout the movie to rip off the blindfold and expose the Bird Box monster once and for all.
So if you want to find out what is the monster, who is the monster, what does the monster look like, right? But why are we calling it a monster? Maybe to them, we are the monster, right?
Let's look at what we know. From the opening moments, it's made clear that when most people see whatever it is that they're seeing, they lose control and, within a few seconds, look for the nearest garbage truck to stand in front of, burning car to hop into, or pane of glass to leap through. And this effect isn't just limited to in-person appearances. Greg, in the highest stakes game of FNAF ever, watches security cameras, sees the thing, and immediately knocks his own block off.
Come on, man, using the FNAF reference but still loses. Why? Gosh, why?
It's important to note, though, that this isn't true for everyone. About midway through the movie, we learn from Gary that there are some people who've seen it and don't immediately off themselves.
These psychos from Northwood.
It's a mental institution for the criminally insane.
They took us outside, and they forced our eyes open so that we would have to look at the creatures.
It seems like all these people are either criminals or were already insane prior to looking at the thing. And rather than dying, they're instead left to worship it, serving as prophets trying to trick or force everyone around them to open their eyes and behold this thing of beauty.
Sorry that you didn't get to see. It is beautiful. So beautiful. It shall cleanse the world.
Though beauty must be in the eyes of the beholder, since these are the images that Gary draws of the thing after he's seen it. The other reactions we get from people who see the thing include,
"Oh my god, what the f*** is that?"
and
They're just so bad.
It's not outright terror, it's just more confusion. And lastly, we can deduce that whatever it is does have a physical form, considering that we actively see it casting shadows and setting off a car's proximity sensors in an early scene. But it also has limited ability to actually interact with the world, considering it can't open doors or pull off blindfolds itself, instead relying on its devotees to do the work for it. So that's a lot of information, but where's it leave us? Well, the movie gives us a list of possible explanations to test in the form of Charlie.
You got world religion and mythology that's full of mentions of demons or spirit creatures that takes on the form of your worst fears or your deepest sadness or your greatest loss.
Except we know that that isn't true of the Bird Box creature, considering the early responses of,
Oh my god, what the is that?
And
Fear is so bad.
those responses don't scream, oh, this is my greatest fear, or oh, this is the worst loss I've ever experienced. More just like, oh, this is it, huh? So that one might not have worked out, but don't worry, Charlie has a lot more hypotheses that we can put to the test.
You got the Akamana, you got the Varios Devas from ancient Zoroastrian legend. You got the Surgat from ancient Christian occult beliefs. You got the Hulai Jing from China. You got the Puka from...
Wait, did you just say Hulai Jing? Hulai Jing? Seriously? I mean, it's quite difficult for you to... Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be so anal about it. I'm sorry. Hu Li Jing, right? Hu Li means fox. Jing, you can think of it as spirit, soul, demon, Oni. Yes, the spirit of the fox, or demon of the fox, the fox demon, something like that.
Noted mythology. All different names, but the same thing. The end of us.
Man, Charlie, I know it's the end of the world, and I know this is all for your book, but you're even more melodramatic than I am. Many of the entities you just mentioned don't mean the end of us. Plus, you're lumped together a lot of spiritual things that are very different and all very wrong for the situation that you're currently in. So let's quickly knock them off the list one by one. Akamana comes from the Zoroastrian faith, one of the oldest religions that are still in practice today, with its origins in the Middle East. And according to the Encyclopedia of Demons in World Religions and Culture, he's the personification of sensual desire and lust. He corrupts your morals and is said to cause people to sit back and watch as evil prevails. So if everyone in Bird Box were busy getting their woohoo on in the streets, then maybe he'd be the one at work here, but clearly that's not the case, and therefore he is clearly not our demon. Surgat is another one that he mentions that is also really easy to eliminate. Coming out of the Christian occult, he's known as the one who opens all locks, which directly speaks to his demonic power, the ability to open any lock in the world. This makes him a fantastic Mr. Beast to get possessed by if you're clumsy with your keys, but definitely not the culprit of a movie where the entity that's killing everyone is befuddled by a simple door handle. Moving on, the Puka is an Irish mythological creature that shapeshifts into different animals and plays pranks on humans, like turning into a black horse and taking people for a spooky, scary ride. But beyond that, it doesn't appear to be all that violent. Seeing it certainly doesn't cause immediate death, and there are plenty of stories where the Puka actually gives good luck. Another easy elimination. Which leaves us with the Chinese Hu Li Jing, and honestly, this one seemed like a good fit.
Not gonna lie, Matt Pat pronounced the words Hu Li Jing significantly better than the character in the movie pronounced Hu Li Jing. Thank you so much for trying your best, but I can't say that. Thank you so much for trying to learn a different culture. I appreciate it. Thank you.
At first, the Hu Li Jing are nine-tailed Chinese fox spirits with the ability to shapeshift, often taking the form of a person's dead relatives. They're able to make people believe the opposite of what's true, like a spirit who convinces you to take off your blindfold and see them because they're beautiful.
And not like, for example, Naruto! With the Biju Dama.
And they're immortal, but that immortality requires them to consume human souls. A lot of things could really work here in the case of Bird Box. It seems like you can make a solid case for them being our mystery entity, except here's the rub. They can pass through walls. Well, send another possibility through the shredder. So Charlie in the movie took a lot of shots and missed them all. Maybe he should abandon that writing project of his and instead go back to his former job. Seems like he had a lot more success there.
I'm T.S. A. We handle shit.
So now, it's my turn. And honestly, after looking at all the various behaviors of the Bird Box creature, no one explanation can truly encapsulate it all. That said, I do think that we can pinpoint the two lores that have combined to create the apocalypse that we see in Bird Box. For the first, let's look again at Gary's pictures. At first glance, these just seem to be a bunch of random spooky pictures, but upon closer inspection, you can definitely see some key themes emerging. First, the idea of exploding eyeballs, which is his artistic representation of the process of the pupil fracturing every time someone sees these entities. So with those pictures eliminated, as well as the ones of just generally scary or screaming faces, this is what we're left with. A bunch of pictures of monsters. Let's call them Horny, Tentacle Face, and Elephant Nose. Let's focus on Tentacle Face here first. It looks a lot like Davy Jones from the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, using the Pirates of the Caribbean's reference. Yeah.
Or it looks a lot like a creature that one would describe like this. Quote, it represented a monster of vaguely anthropoid outline, but with an octopus-like head whose face was a mass of feelers, a scaly, rubbery-looking body, prodigious claws on hind and forefeet, and long, narrow wings behind it. If you're familiar with your horror history, you'll know that tentacle face belongs to none other than the Lovecraftian nightmare Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. A lot of reference to him in the comic books as well, so yeah.
A name that I'm sure we're all vaguely familiar with, but might not know a whole lot about. So let's take a minute to talk about him. Cthulhu, created by author H.P. Lovecraft in his short story The Call of Cthulhu, is what's known as a Great Old One, a godlike entity that came from space and now sleeps under the oceans of Earth, waiting to be awakened. But not only does Fish Face fit what we see in Gary's little art project, listen to how the creator of Bird Box describes his monster.
There's a teacher who mentioned that a man would go mad, lose his mind, if he were to attempt to fathom infinity. It became like a monstrous concept to me, all right? So at some point I started to think of infinity or something the human mind can't assimilate as a monster, and what if that idea was actually like personified? So on your front porch, infinity is on the porch swing outside swinging. Infinity is out there, and if you open the door...
Mind you, this interview is from way back in 2015, from the earliest days when his book started to get attention, and long before the author realized that he needed to be a bit more mysterious in the way that he talks about his story. So the monster, as he saw it in his original novel, was inspired by infinity.
No, you must understand, he recognized that if a man fathommed infinity, what if, instead of an adult, with proper mindset, with a grown, fixed mindset of theirs, trying to fathom infinity, versus a kid who's just trying to learn something, who's just trying to learn everything in the world, right? To a man, to an adult, I know everything already, I know everything, and then boom, infinity. Ah! But in the case of the children, they know nothing, and if you introduce the concept of infinity, they will not be so boom about it, correct? Openness requires education to have a proper outcome.
That's interesting, considering that the main theme of the Cthulhu mythos is human insignificance when confronted with the idea of infinity. Look no further than the opening lines of Call of Cthulhu, which outlines this exact premise. Quote, the most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents. We live on a placid island of ignorance, in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far. End quote. Now, if that still doesn't sound like it matches Bird Box, just wait. You see, in Lovecraftian stories, when humans come into contact with one of these infinite beings, like Cthulhu, they go mad. Their brains aren't able to comprehend the magnitude of what they're seeing, and they literally go insane. But it also doesn't apply to all humans. A subset of people become worshippers of the Old Ones, just like we see in Bird Box. To quote from Call of Cthulhu, they worshipped, so they said, the great old ones who lived ages before there were any men, and who came to the young world out of the sky. Someday Cthulhu would call, when the stars were ready and the secret cult would always be waiting to liberate him. And that's just Cthulhu. Lovecraft has a whole series of monsters in his bestiary that match the other drawings that we're seeing. Elephant Face? That's a lot like the design of Shognar Fawn. Horny? Definitely close to the god servants named night gods. So we have creatures based on the concept of infinity that have massive size, match Gary's drawings, inspire cults of devoted worshippers, and possess faces that literally drive people insane. Monsters of the Cthulhu mythos match practically all of our requirements. practically. You see, the Cthulhu explanation misses a few major marks. First, humans are to Cthulhu what insects are to us. Nothing. We can't be bothered. He's too busy living his best life under the sea alongside Aquaman and Ariel. That would explain why it shows no interest or urgency in opening doors in Bird Box, but Cthulhu also wouldn't be found chasing around a few humans on a 42-hour boat tour. It's just a waste of his, and quite frankly, most of the other Lovecraftian monsters' time. The bigger issue here, though, is the Bird Box creature's ability to harness the power of the dead. Up until this point, I've been dancing around one key issue here: the fact that the entity can mimic the appearance and voice of family members. And not just people it was responsible for killing either. In the opening moments of the movie, we meet and quickly lose a woman named Lydia. As she sees the monster, she calls out,
Mom? Please don't go. Please don't go.
The twist is that Lydia's mom has been dead for 5 years, long before this thing started attacking Earth. The movie doesn't bother to explore this, but to me, this is a huge detail that's critical for understanding the lore behind this thing. It's also critical to know that it's not restrained to mimicking just the dead. In an effort to trick boy and girl into removing their blindfolds, the entity mimics the voice of Mallory, our protagonist, who is still very much alive.
Girl, come with me. Take the blindfold off. Look at me.
So what's happening here? Well, before I tell you the other half of this theory, do me a favor and remove those blindfolds for just long enough to hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of other cool horror movie theories headed down the pipeline, so if you've enjoyed this one, which it seems like you have, making it this far, then subscribe to get notified of when we cover ways to defeat horror villains, like we did with Michael Myers not too long ago, or...
That's great! Anyways, do remember to subscribe to my channel as well. Subscribe! Thank you. If you do like this video, please remember to subscribe as well. Thank you.
Or predict what's gonna happen in upcoming horror movies like Us, which is a theory that should be coming out in a couple weeks now. If you're interested, do me the favor, hit subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. Thank you so much. And now, with that out of the way, let's finish this mystery up. While a Cthulhu-like monster seems to be the physical being that people are seeing here, where are these additional powers and motivations coming from? Well, there's strong evidence to suggest that these elements are inspired by the Rapture, the event in some Christian belief where the faithful, both living and dead, are taken up to meet Christ. To use the original Bible verses, 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16 and 17, quote, "For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air." Consider this. What if Lydia, calling out to her mom, is actually seeing her dead mother in the afterlife? And if Tom really is calling out to Mallory at the end of the movie, encouraging her to open her eyes and join him in the afterlife? All of these souls seem to be caught up together, just like in the Rapture, where they would be encouraging others who are worthy to join. If that was truly the case, and you have all these worthy dead people mixed up together like a big old yarn ball, it would be a beautiful sight, just like those left behind say that it is, despite their drawings suggesting otherwise. Speaking of those left behind, why are only criminals left behind on Earth? Well, because they didn't honor God's commandments and don't merit going up to heaven. They're not rapture material, you could say. And not only does it explain that, but this theory also gives clarity to a detail that's easy to overlook. Why these delusional prophets insist on opening the eyes of their victims instead of, just killing them. I mean, if the monster truly wanted these people to just kill off the rest of humanity, why wouldn't they just do it? Why resort to forcing their eyes open? It's so the victims can bear witness. In the Christian faith, a lot of emphasis is put on bearing witness to God's power. Isaiah 43 verse 10, "You are my witnesses, declares the Lord, and my servant whom I've chosen, that you may know and believe me and understand that I am he." Even Gary seems remorseful that he kills off Douglas without him getting to see the entity.
Sorry that you didn't get to see. It is beautiful. So beautiful.
How about the whole not opening doors thing? Revelation 3:20, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and eat with him, and he with me. And I hear you, I totally recognize the concern too. What about everyone taking their own lives? If this is a rapture situation, isn't that a cardinal sin of the church? Yeah, it is. Absolutely. However, this is possibly a rapture-like situation we're talking about. Maybe rapture rules are in effect. I mean, think about it. Typical depictions of the event are a bunch of bodies just kind of rising up to the heavens, but that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, does it? Maybe the real rapture is just those who are chosen answering the call to free their spirits by abandoning the flesh, and doing stuff like garbage truck hopping is the fastest way to do it. You may have also noticed the odd motif of pregnancy. You see it with Mallory, you see it with Olympia. Is it a coincidence then that when referring to the day of rapture, the Bible specifically refers to it coming on like labor pains to a pregnant woman? 1 Thessalonians chapter 1. Now you do not need to have anything written to you about times and dates, brothers, for you yourselves know very well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. When people say there is peace and security, destruction will strike them as suddenly as labor pains come to a pregnant woman, and they will not be able to escape. It's a weird coincidence, right? Now obviously there's an elephant in the room. Why would the blind be left behind during a rapture scenario? And yeah, the meek shall inherit the earth. I don't know, not a perfect
Elephants in the room. Literally elephants in the room.
theory. Like I said earlier, I don't think it's any one monster or one religious belief happening here. A rapturing Cthulhu, a literal octopus Jesus is really the closest we can probably get. There's just a lot of weird specifications that this thing needs to fulfill, and in the end, it's really more like an original creation for the purposes of the story, which, I gotta say, is never a bad thing. What? People coming up with an original thought for a change? Go figure. And heck, at the very least, my explanation of an octopus Jesus today is way better than what they were gonna put in the movie. Yeah, that veiny reptile baby was an early version of the monster that got cut. I gotta admit, for as frustrating as not seeing the monster was, not seeing the monster was a whole heck of a lot better than that. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And if you want to see more horrific film theory action, click the box to the right to see how to beat Michael Myers. Or if you want to see something that's a bit closer to home, check out our series on salad fingers. It's the creepiest animated thing that you're gonna see today. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a few more endings that I gotta get in Bandersnatch. I'll see you next week.
Wow, that's incredible. Anyways, if you do like this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel and comment down below if you have things to us. Don't forget to follow my channel and sincerely appreciate all of the support and encouragement for more work. And yeah, but hey, that's just a theory. A film theory and cut. Thank you. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye bye! Thank you. Subscribe! Thank you so much. One last video before I go. Lego Batman. Please don't tell me it's long. 70 minutes! Oh,
internet!
How much is it? 70 minutes? Come on. Right, hello everyone, it's me, and today let's step on some Lego theories. Lego. Legos, Legos. Legos theories. Let's go. Let's start. Hello everyone, it's me, and today let's step on some Lego theories. Let's go. One more time. I mess up. Just move on. Alright, I'm back. Hi everyone. Sorry, just now I got... I need to do something else just now. Sorry. Now I'm back. Actually, you know what? Yeah, just one last video before I go. I try to not make it into 4 hours long. Less than 4 hours lah. Less than 4 hours. Less than 4 hours I should. Yeah. 3 hours and a half. One last video. Let's go. One last video. After all, I still got other things to do. Oh, we will run away to another galaxy, you know she's in love with me. Let's go. Hello everyone, it's me, and today let's start on Legos. Alright, let's go. Let's Hello everyone, it's me, and today let's step on Legos together. Let's go.
Hello Internet, welcome to Film Theory.
Hello Internet, welcome to Film Theory. Hello.
Today we're taking the Lego Challenge. Nope, not the one that ruins your feet, the one that ruins your childhood. Now, even though we're talking about movies created from simple toys...
You know the rules, this isn't a toy.
It kinda is.
No, actually it's a highly sophisticated interlocking brick system.
Okay, highly sophisticated. What? It's just a toy, come on, just say it. It's a toy.
Fine. Even though we're talking about movies created from highly sophisticated interlocking brick system...
Highly sophisticated interlocking brick system!
I'm still not gonna be pulling any punches. I'm bringing Lego out of the hypothetical movie magic and into the real world.
Let's go!
Batman. Which is kinda weird since Lego is real and Batman isn't. So, let me clarify. I'm bringing the fictional Lego characters who canonically exist in the real world, but it's a fictional real world, out of their separate fictional reality and into the reality-based fiction of Batman. I think that makes sense. Regardless, despite us being several levels of Inception down, our premise is surprisingly simple. Who is stronger, DC Batman or Lego Batman? Literally since the day that I first saw the Lego movie, which, if you haven't seen it, is fantastic and heartwarming, I have asked myself this question. And now, finally, with the Lego movie sequel coming out, it gives me the perfect chance to finally answer this question 5 years in the making. And I get it. I know that you're thinking this is a stupid question to dedicate an episode and half a decade of waiting to cover. Of course, IRL Batman is going to be stronger. He is a 200-poundish man versus a 3-gram Lego minifig.
3 grams! Super light.
But what I want to know is their strength relative to their overall size. Lifting a 10-pound dumbbell is nothing to a regular human, but it would be a feat of incredible strength for a tiny Lego minifigure. So we need to measure each of them in their respective universes. As our real-life Batman contender, I've chosen what I think is the best version of Batman that isn't made of pressed and formed plastic, the Nolan Batman.
Oh, chey, not the Nolan Batman. I thought it's the new Batman that's coming out soon. Is it?
from the Dark Knight trilogy. Don't at me. Or do at me. Actually, at MattPatGT. Love to have you as a Twitter follower. I tweet very relatable things. So we'll be going with his strength versus Lego Batman in our big showdown today. Now, when it comes to measuring strength, there are a lot of different ways to do it. So we're gonna look at two main factors. One, how much strength they exert, and two, how much damage they can take. Offense and defense. So let's start things off with a bang. Or rather, a kick. One of the best measures of Lego Batman's strength comes when he's at home, completely unaided by his gadgets, and with nothing but his raw strength and excellent reflexes.
Yes.
I have incredible reflexes.
Yeah, that's what I just said, Lego Batman. And we see those reflexes at work when he's caught off guard by Alfred and kicks him into a piano. A piano that is completely across the room. It's safe to say that he's not holding back anything in this moment since he's acting purely on instinct. And I'm gonna assume it'd be pretty hard for Christian Bale to match the results of kicking someone his own size halfway across a giant mansion's lounge.
Well, unless it is cinema magic, I guess cinema magic.
So it would seem that Lego Batman in this instance would definitely be stronger than IRL Batman, but to be sure, let's run some numbers. When it comes to calculating strength, we can always rely on our good old buddy Sir Isaac Newton and his second law of motion, which tells us that force equals mass times acceleration, or to loyal theorists who've been watching the show for a while, FMA. Mass here is pretty straightforward. Since Alfred is the thing that's moving, we need the mass of Alfred, and he has the same mass as his identical minifigure in the real world of 2.98 grams. To figure out his acceleration, we need to use the information that we see on screen. Going through the movie frame by frame, Alfred is airborne for 17 frames. Given that the footage is 24 frames per second, that works out to a total airtime of 0.7083333 seconds. And the distance he's traveling in that amount of time across Batman's room appears to be 28 studs. A stud here not referring to Batman.
Okay, let's keep it family friendly and wholesome. Thank you.
On top of a Lego brick that allows it to interlock with other bricks, which works out to be 22.26 centimeters in length. So knowing the distance and the time tells us that Alfred is flying at a velocity of 31.426 centimeters per second. So now that we have Alfred's travel velocity, we can determine the acceleration at the moment of impact. And by moment, I really do mean moment, because going back to our frame-by-frame footage, Batman's foot connects with Alfred's face for literally one frame, a mere 0.04166 seconds, or 41.66 milliseconds. Lego Batman was not lying about his incredible reflexes.
Incredible reflexes! Yeah! He's a superhero.
That means that our acceleration ends up being a whopping 754.34 centimeters per second squared, or heck, forget centimeters, that's big enough to measure it in big boy units. That's 7.5434 meters per second squared. So plug in
the big boys matrix.
all that back into our good old FMA equation, we're able to find out that Lego Batman's kick is delivering 0.02248 newtons of force, or 0.0050537 pounds of force. That may seem like a small number, and it is, but remember, Lego Batman is a small guy, meaning that that's a pretty darn impressive kick for someone of his size and weight. Which means that if we're going to make a fair comparison between the relative strengths of these two Batmans, we need to measure it in terms of their strength to weight ratio. How strong are they relative to how heavy or big they are? So Lego Batman's strength to weight ratio when he makes this kick is 0.00505 pounds of force divided by 0.00657 pounds of weight, or a strength weight ratio of 0.769. That's the equivalent of a 200-pound man kicking with 153.8 pounds of force.
Oh my gosh, there's something called the strength weight ratio. The more you know then. Thank you so much, I learned something new about it.
Is that actually impressive? Well, to find out, let's compare him to Christian Bale Man. Now, Christian Bale's Batman has plenty of solid kicks throughout the Dark Knight trilogy, but all of them are a bit hard to measure based on pure strength alone. There's just too many variables and jump cuts around each of these fight scenes. That said, this simple scene in The Dark Knight Rises of him shattering some bricks with a kick actually gives us something solid to work with. So, how much strength does it take to break some bricks? For that information, we turn to astronaut Ronald McNair. Like, a lot of astronauts, Ronald McNair was an MIT-trained physicist. Unlike a lot of astronauts, he was also a 5th degree black belt in karate. Luckily for us, those two interests intersected, and in one demonstration of his brick-shattering strikes, he actually had the force recorded. The bricks—
I really like it that such martial artists have been to space, right? Right? Okay, at the very least, he's mixing martial arts with traditional martial arts with proper scientific analytics involved.
broke when he exerted 675 pounds of force. So using the weight that Christian Bale was when he filmed the Dark Knight trilogy of 210 pounds, we're able to determine that IRL Batman's strength to weight ratio is 3.214, over 4 times stronger than Lego Batman, even when you're talking in relative terms. I am very surprised by that result, actually. I mean, look at the difference of those two kicks! So, just comparing the strength of their kicks, it seems like Lego Batman loses out to big boy Christian Bale. And he's not just losing to Batman, but most normal people in this instance. The average person is able to leg press 1.8 to 2.2 times their own body weight, meaning that Lego Batman is less than half the strength of a normal person. You sure you're not skipping leg day there, Batman? But maybe—
oh gosh! This is Batman!
Maybe this wasn't a fair comparison. Maybe the Lego characters' lack of knees holds them back when they try to kick. So let's see how the two Batmen stack up against each other defensively. Of all the abuse we see Lego Batman take, probably the most savage hit comes in the Lego Batman movie's opening action scene, when the Joker succeeds in ramming Batman head-on with his car. Once again, we need to calculate force, which means getting mass and acceleration. Mass here is easy. The Joker is driving his notorious lowrider, Lego set number 70906-1, now available for $39.99 wherever Lego sets are sold, just in case you forgot that all the Lego movies are ultimately an attempt to sell plastic toys to kids. Having access to a real-world version of the Lego vehicle means that we can easily find its mass, 0.63 kilograms or 1.38 pounds. And yes, that does include the mass of the Joker, who is driving inside. God, I love doing episodes where all this information just exists because they're real-life products. For acceleration, we followed a similar procedure to the kicks, measuring distances and times using frame-by-frame calculations, ultimately winding up with 4.6226 meters per second squared. So now that we have mass and acceleration, we can calculate force out to be 2.912 newtons or 0.654 pounds. Again, that looks like a small number, but this time, when we adjust it for Batman's weight, things change drastically. The ratio of the force he's able to sustain versus his weight is 99.653. That's the equivalent of a 200-pound man getting smacked with 19,930 pounds of force. And yet, here's Lego Batman just shrugging it off. That Danish-made plastic is built to last, so it's no surprise that a Lego superhero would have the same kind of durability.
I agree with you. This kind of respect is just amazing. Brilliantly incredible.
Surprise, surprise, plastic can take a lot more abuse than human tissue. Or so we'd assume, but to know for sure, let's check back—
Get it? Human tissue, paper tissue.
—in with our Dark Knight. While Lego Batman has to contend with Joker, and Sauron, and Godzilla, and Voldemort, Nolan's Batman suffers defeat at the hands of a much more mundane villain.
Who else drives you to one-up them the way that I do?
Bane.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, but yes he does. In the Dark Knight trilogy, there's only one villain who succeeds in beating Batman in hand-to-hand combat by giving him injuries that take months to recover from, and his name ain't Joker.
I was wondering what would break first. Your spirit or your body?
After all these years, that voice is still so weird to me. Anyway, Batman's body does break, but how much punishment is Batman's body actually taking? You know the drill by now. FMA. Analyze the footage, find the change in velocity during the moment of impact, multiply it by Batman's canonical weight of 95 kilograms or 210 pounds, and boom, you got it, the Force.
Yes! The Force! Star Wars, the Force!
At the moment of impact, Batman's body's deceleration is 7.46 meters per second squared. Multiply that by his mass and you find the impact of Bane's spine-shattering attack to be 708 newtons, or 159 pounds of force, which is not impressive not impressive at all, actually. It's not even enough to break a back. Now, that might seem weird at first, that we had a miscalculation somewhere along the line, but that's not actually true. What it's really telling us is that this scene was filmed practically. They use an actual stunt actor rather than using CG to make the impact look more brutal. And when you're filming stuff for real, you don't want the actor to be subject to forces that would actually break their back. Bane may not be pulling any punches in the fictional world of Batman, but apparently Bane's actor Tom Hardy here in the real world does. Probably for the best. So to be a bit more fair to the live-action version of Batman, we can probably compare his body to that of a typical human to get a more accurate estimate for how much damage he could take from a supervillain like Bane. According to Ali Biden, a neurosurgeon at Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, a spinal injury like the one that we see in the movie would require about 3,000 newtons of force, or about 674.4 pounds of force. It's an impressive number to be sure, but it's a far cry from Lego Batman's weight-adjusted 19,930 pounds of force.
True, you must understand that it is very impressive. It is very impressive. But in comparison to... not that great.
So we're tied 1-1. In terms of durability, small plastic figurines blow humanity out of the water, but when it comes to feats of kicking strength, movable leg joints are apparently super useful. Except there's something else here. Something that clearly decides this Batman buff boy battle once and for all.
What is it about that makes it so weird? That makes it so strange, that makes it stand out from the crowd?
You see, punches and kicks aren't the best way to determine Lego Batman's actual strength. Him at his strongest is actually showcased in something much more mundane and commonplace in the Legoverse: building. In the original Lego movie, they make a big deal out of the fact that certain people in the Lego universe are master builders, making people like Batman, Emmett, and Unikitty part of this elite group.
Master builders spend years training themselves to clear their minds enough, and yet, your mind is already so prodigiously empty that there is nothing in it to clear away in the first place.
And it's this creative ability to think outside the box, or without instructions, that make master builders so powerful in the Legoverse. Except maybe there's another quality than just pure creativity that matters. You see, at the start of the movie, when Emmett is going to work at the construction site, it seems like there's a lot of workers and infrastructure to accomplish what should be relatively simple tasks, like connecting a 1x2 plate to another plate. Hammers, cranes, hundreds of workers are involved in this process. And yet, later on in the movie, we see the master builders doing things like this in seconds with pieces that are much larger than themselves. It really does take a feat of super strength to whip those Lego creations together. How much super strength? Glad you asked. Because we're...
I really like it that MatPat asked the question himself and answered the question himself. Everything is awesome! Everything is cool when you're part of the team!
Working with Legos, a widely used consumer product, the data is available to us. And according to a report measuring strength required to build with Legos, the brick separation on just two 2x2 bricks measures out at 5.2 pounds. That is over 1,000 times the force that we calculated for when Lego Batman kicked Alfred across the room. That means that his strength to weight ratio suddenly skyrockets. It comes out to 791.48. That's the equivalent of our 200-pound Christian Bale exerting 158,295 pounds of force. Just imagine some dude, or heck, Batman, walking up to an adult male African bush elephant, the heaviest land animal on the planet, and just, you know, lifting it up, and then just casually lifting up 11 more. That is the equivalent of what Lego Batman is doing here every time he pries apart 2 Lego bricks. This means that not only does Lego Batman handily beat out our Nolan Batman, but he does so to an absurd degree. Not only is the Lego Batman one of the best written and best performed Batmen in history, but strangely enough, he's also the most superpowered. Dear DC, now that the news is broken that your extended universe is in need of yet another replacement for the Man in Black, I've got a little guy who just might be the missing piece you're looking for. But hey,
literally missing piece.
Not everyone can have a caped vigilante in the front of pure blackness protecting them in their day-to-day life. But you can get the next best thing with our sponsor for today's video, NordVPN. If you've ever been concerned about hackers or identity theft, a VPN is your single best solution. And Nord is like the Batman of VPNs. Just like Batman saw injustices in the world and sought out to correct them, Nord was founded by a group of childhood friends, some would call them a team of super friends, looking to fight against internet censorship and intrusive surveillance into your online life. And they created it with a service that offers unlimited bandwidth and double data encryption for maximum security online. You know how Batman is fast and stealthy? Well, NordVPN's Chrome browser is exactly the same. It's super lightweight, it's easy to use, and it secures your browsing in seconds. You know how Batman just shows up places and the villains are like, oh no, I didn't think that you'd find me here? Well, Nord's the same way, with Android and iOS apps that protect you even when you're on a mobile device. And just like Batman travels the globe in his crime-busting adventures, NordVPN is also international, with thousands of servers in 62 countries. It's even able to work in China and the Middle East. Nord has all the best features of Batman, but is also one step better than Batman because unlike Batman, NordVPN has 24/7 customer support. Batman just works nights. Dark nights. But nice nonetheless. And that's not all. Unlike the Dark Knight's Batman, where he surveilled the entire city using their cell phones, Nord has zero data logging. What you do online with Nord is and will always remain your own personal business, with no company secretly keeping track in the background. I mean, sure, at the end of the Dark Knight, Batman deleted all that information he had, but still, Nord doesn't keep it around in the first place. And right now, for a limited time, you can get 75% off the 3-year plan at nordvpn.com/filmtheory. Link is right there hovering at the top of the description. This special offer makes your subscription just $2.99 per month, so you can browse and shop online securely across all of your devices. It's also risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee if they're not Batman enough for your liking. And best of all, you can use the code FILMTHEORY at checkout to get an extra month of Nord protection for free. So answer the call, join this Justice League, this online Justice League, and have your online life protected. Link is in the top line of the description. It's nordvpn.com/filmtheory. Use Film Theory at checkout for an extra month. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next week.
Thank you so much for watching this video together with me. I hope that you find this video very cute and adorable to watch. Very enjoyable and entertaining to watch, isn't it? If you do like this video, please remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you have anything to share with us. Don't forget to follow my channel, and I sincerely appreciate all of your support and encouragement for my work. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye bye! But hey, that's just a theory. One more time. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory and cut. Thank you. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Bye 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 bye. Once again, subscribe to my channel. Bye bye. And yeah, it's gonna be 4 hours already. I think that the camera shifted down way too much just now. See? Gosh. Yeah. The camera shifted down way too much just now. Oh gosh. Just now that was horrible. Well, a video is a video. Yeah, a video is still a video. Anyways, I hope to see you all in my next video. In my next live stream, sorry. I'm gonna end my live stream soon. Thank you all so much for coming over to my live stream today. And I hope that all of you have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much. But hey, that's just a stream. A live stream! Thanks for watching. Thank you. And I hope to see you all in my next live stream. Bye bye! Subscribe. Thank you so much. Subscribe to my channel. And yes. Sorry. Once again, I need to show my sincerest gratitude towards KB Profits and Florence Donson for coming over to my live stream and keeping the chat active and engaging. Thank you. Once again, bye bye. I'm Humdrum Singaporean. I'm just another Singaporean. I am Mundane Singaporean. I'm a mediocre Singaporean. I am basic Singaporean. I'm simple Singaporean. I'm regular Singaporean. ordinary Singaporeans, I'm normal Singaporean, I'm average Singaporean, there's nothing special about me. I'm interesting, dull, plain, boring, yeah, something like that. But I think